After a rain-shortened 8-inning game last night, the Otters and the Yalls are ready to continue their 3-game set. The Otters were victorious last night, and they'll look to continue it tonight behind the arm of left-handed Brett Adcock. We'll talk more about him a little bit later. He's Bill McEwen. I'm Matthew Will. Join you for another edition of Otters Baseball. How are we feeling today?
Well, right now the sun is out, and I am so happy to be here, be with you guys last night. I mean, I was saying my prayers when I left here last night. It was raining so hard. My son, thank God, was the driver because I don't drive at night. Plus, driving in the rain was terrible. But we couldn't see the road out in the country, so I'm lucky to be here.
Well, the Otters were able to get things done last night despite the game being shortened by 1 inning due to that rain. We were just about to play the 9th inning. Logan Sawyer had taken the mound, ready to earn himself a save. We see the 9th inning canceled. Otters win the game. Jacob Bowles actually gets his first save of the year in the 8th inning, and Justin Watland gets himself a strong win. At the end of the night, Otters are able to hang their hat on a pretty good performance, none bigger than J.R. Davis, who was 0 for 3 in the game, but he had 3 RBIs, so it was a good day.
And who scored all 3 of those runs? Mr. Armstrong. Remember, because we said take the 3 runs that the Otters had, and Armstrong is the one that scored all 3. 2 were on, I think,
fielder's choice, and the 3rd was on a sac fly.
Sac flies, but one was a wild pitch.
That was Khalil's at the
end.
end.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
That was the last run. Yes, and we were sweating that out.
Well, and it felt good to see George Khalil get himself on base with a hit by pitch, steal second, back-to-back pass balls, let him score, and the Otters got a very big run of insurance. Turns out they didn't end up needing it because the game was shortened. They end up winning the game 4-2. For the Otters, they got back onto their winning ways after dropping the final game against Schaumburg. As for Florence, it was their 11th straight loss. They're still looking for something to go their way.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that loss. But you and I were sweating out watching the rain. You were watching the weather and saying, oh, it's at least a half hour away. Well, at that time, we were losing. We needed to tie. And then when we got the tie, we said, whoa, now you can finish the game because 5.5 innings is complete.
Well, it was nice to see the Otters once again get a strong performance out of Justin Watland on the mound. He's joining us here in the press box this evening, running the statistical pieces down there on the other side of the press box. He went 7 1/3 innings, giving up just 2 runs on 3 hits. He walked 3, struck out 8. It was another great performance for him.
Yeah, well, you said before the game he was the league-leading strikeout artist. And so whatever he got last night just helped propel him, I think, further up the ladder.
Yeah, he's got 76 on the year now. That's 9 higher than second.
Oh, well.
So he's got himself up there. And, I assume for some of these guys, it's nice to see their name being recognized as one of the best. But at the same time, it's a long season. You can't hang your hat on a being the leading strikeout man halfway through.
Well, there's an old expression in baseball: you're only as good as your last base hit. You could be the hero today, but come tomorrow, strike out, you're the GOAT.
Well, one of the things that I think is worth noting in this league, it's not about either of these 2 teams, but I think it's something that us as a league need to keep an eye on, is that the Lake Erie Crushers, here a week before the All-Star break happens, their pitching staff has thrown 485 strikeouts. If they do things right in the back half, they could hit 1,000 Ks as a pitching staff, and that would be astounding.
I'll agree with you on that. Yes, you always should have a 2-to-1 ratio, strikeouts versus walks. And my God, if you had 1,000 strikeouts and 500 walks, I'd say that's pretty good pitching staff.
The Otters set the pitching staff strikeout record last year in the Frontier League with 832. Right now, Lake Erie's at 485, and it wouldn't take too much in this back half of the season to pass that. Meanwhile, with 485 strikeouts, they're only at 232 walks. That's a very efficient pitching staff, but unfortunately for the Crushers, they have not had the offense to win them ball games, and that's why they're down in the standings.
Well, how many times have you said that? Whether you're here in Otterville or on the road, how a team can be very, very effective, but if you don't have the offensive team to supply the hitting, the pitching, it makes no difference. I mean, you go out there and pitch a no-hitter, but if your team don't get any hits, it's a no hitter on both sides.
Yeah, and then that's the thing for the Otters. They've really hung their hat on their starting pitching. It's one of the best things about this team. Uh, just about any guy on this pitching staff can give you a wonderful outing, and that's
I,
one of the benefits.
I'll agree with you. I think the Otters had the best starting pitchers in the Frontier League. Yes, I'll agree 1,000% with you.
And then I think it's really uplifting in these last 11 games, of which the Otters have won 10 of 11. It's not been Zach Biertman hitting home runs. It hasn't been Steven Sinsley leading the way with all the RBIs or Elijah McNamee carrying all the way. It's so spread out even. Everybody's got a game or two that they've stood up as the hero. And at this point in the season, to have this much similarities across the whole lineup is really uplifting for this team.
Well, one of the things about a championship team is just like you say, the Bierman or the Phillipses aren't getting a home run. It's the guy you never think of that comes through and produces the winning run or the RBI, whatever it may be. So it's the unsung hero that comes forth to help you secure the win you need.
Well, and the one that I think you're alluding to there is Andy Armstrong, who's batting well over 350 in his last 10 games. He's come out of nowhere to be the man in this little stretch. While some of his teammates struggle, he's done good to kind of help even the load on him.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, 3 of the 4 runs that the Otters scored last night, he scored 3 of those. And he's a very efficient bunter, but he seems to be making better contact now and has helped steal bases, bunting, and scoring. So I tell you what, Matthew, you know how to call a game. You foresee things, and you've always alluded to him being a better ball player than he's been recognized for.
Well, and luckily the Otters have played in a style in the last couple weeks that's made it easy to call ball games. They've been a fun team to watch. They've never been in a game that you really counted them out of. Outside of the 9-run loss to this Florence team on the road 3 weeks ago, it's been a long time since we had a game that the Otters felt really out of the ball game, and that's what keeps you at the top of the leaderboard.
I'll agree with you. And sitting up here with you for the last 3 nights or 4 nights, I tell you what, my pacemaker keeps calling down there at St. Vincent's Hospital and kept saying, "How's he doing? How's he doing?" Because the alarm is sounding down there at St. Vincent's.
I'll tell you what, it is a beautiful night for baseball. We're sitting in the mid-70s. There's a nice breeze. The sun's come out for the first time today, and we're just minutes away from first pitch. It's a league of their own night here. The Otters celebrating the 30-year anniversary of the movie's release last week is when that official 30-year reunion was. They're celebrating tonight. They gave away hats at the front doors. They're giving away they're auctioning the jerseys that the players are wearing tonight, and the whole night's going to be rounded out by post-game fireworks. It's a perfect night for baseball here from Otterville, and we've got first pitch coming at you next here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. Don't go anywhere. First pitch is next. National anthem's been sung, and we are ready for baseball from historic Bosse Field here in Evansville, Indiana. Once again, he's Bill McEwen. I'm Matthew Will. It's a beautiful night for baseball, and there's no two ways to say it. The Evansville Otters are a hot team right now. They lost a tough game to Schaumburg, but other than that, winners of 10 of their last 11. This is a good team riding good starting pitching. They've got another good man on the mound this evening. Before we get to him, we'd like to remind you that Evansville Otters baseball on Flow Sports is presented by Working Distributors Evansville. And with that, let's tell you who it is up there on the mound. Brett Adcock, the sole lefty in the Otters rotation, back up on the bump this evening. He enters the game with a 3-0 record. The multi-year pro comes to the Otters, of course, this year from the Sioux City Explorers in the American Association. An ERA just over 3.1. He has won the last 3 starts he's put together, and in those 3 starts combined, he's given up a total of 5 runs. He's playing well. The Otters are going to hope he can continue it today.
I hope so myself. He's got that beautiful bright red glove that attracts everybody. I'd like to make one comment. The national anthem was sang here. Heritage is giving away baseball hats. So if there's 3,000 people in the stands right now, there's 3,000 hats out there. Yet when that Star Spangled Banner was sung, there wasn't one hat that was on a person's head. Everyone had it. That's Americanism, and that's what we need, more patriotism.
Well, it's Adcock on the mound, Felix behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. Here's the men Brett Adcock will face for the Florence Yalls. A new look at the top. Ray Zuberer, who makes the jump from the 9-hole to the 1-hole this evening. Following Zuberer, it's Alberti Chavez, Brennan Price, Anthony Brocado, Axel Johnson, Ethan Stern, Harrison DeNicola, Cooper Edwards, and Bryant Flotte rounds up the lineup there for the Florence Yalls.
I don't know if you noticed, Zuber acknowledged his presence.
First pitch is skied high behind home plate and out of play.
Yeah, Ray Zuber, as he approached the plate, he turned around, he tapped the umpire on the elbow and said hello, and then he tapped Felix on the elbow. So he introduced himself that he was the batter.
So first pitch strike for Brett Adcock, and now he readies himself up on the bump before the 0-1. The kick and delivery, low outside for ball 1.
It is a beautiful, beautiful night, and look at the Corona patio. It's packed out there.
Absolutely packed, yeah. First time the sun came out all day was about 20 minutes before first pitch. Couldn't have wrote it any better. A called strike 2. Adcock's ahead in the count 1-2. Otters are wearing special jerseys tonight to celebrate that 30-year anniversary of the release of the film A League of Their Own. They're kind of tinted yellowish on the top with red piping, red numbers on the back. The Owls are wearing their full grays with the high red socks. The 1-2. Big curveball sent out towards left center field. Gordon, long run, and he brings it in for out number 1. At this point, let's walk through the Otters' defensive alignment for you this evening. J.R. Davis returns to left field. Miles Gordon will man the center. And Jeffrey Baez once again out in right field. Across the infield, Anthony Tarellis at third, George Khalil at short, Andy Armstrong at second, Zach Bierman at first, and it's Felix behind the plate. Another rock-solid defensive lineup this evening. Alberti Chavez makes his way to the plate. The first pitch to him. High inside, ball 1.
You know, it's funny, we're celebrating the League of Their Own, and the star of that movie, Tom Hanks, although I don't believe he played any baseball in high school or college, that I'm not sure. I know he didn't play professional. Yet he has instituted a saying within baseball that is now famous. Baseball players don't cry. I mean, how many times have you heard of it, read of it, and yet he was the one that coined it?
Couldn't tell you how many times.
Yep. So, Tom Hanks, thank you.
The 1-1 to Chavez. A half swing, stays high for ball 2.
Yeah,
Let's introduce you to the men in black around the diamond this evening. Brandon Spivak mans things behind the plate. He'll call the balls and strikes. David Bailey, the umpire on the left side of the infield. Matt Beaver, the crew chief, on the right side. A high swinging strike two, evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes, and a big smile from Chavez. Knew he probably shouldn't have swung at that one.
Well, Chavez, the pitch before, it was a high pitch, and he went halfway around. Fortunately, no appeal. And then Brett come back with the same pitch, and he went and swung at it.
Why not give him again right here on the 2-2? The ball bounces in, stopped by Felix. Regardless, it's a 3-2 count now.
Yeah, those pants look pretty whitish after that. Several of our players were really sliding in those wet infield mud.
Yeah, I guarantee you the white pants are going to get dirty this evening.
Yep.
Most of the infield dirt is still pretty soggy from the day. A 3-2, big swinging strike 3, and Brett Adcock has his first German American Bank strikeout of the day. That was one of those pitches that I feel like only we see Adcock do it. You can see all of his fingers roll across the top of the ball as he releases it.
Yeah, you got good eyesight, I'll tell you that.
So now the big first baseman, Brennan Price, heads to the plate. 6'9", 300.
Mr. Hercules.
The first pitch to Brennan Price is on the way. High outside, ball 1. In one of the biggest at-bats of his whole year last night, Brennan Price grounded to the first baseman, Steven Sinsley, who barely made a play last night. If it got through, likely we would have had a tie game. They'll start off this day with a hit by pitch on a pitch high and inside. And Brett Adcock has allowed a runner with 2 outs.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, I'm going to go back to an American Legion. Pennsylvania, you heard me say Pennsylvania had the best American Legion program. There was a kid out of Philadelphia. There was something like Hercules out there. He might have been only 6'5" at that time. A good 300 pounds. And it seems like he hit nothing but home runs. And they were playing my home team in the AAA Johnstown tournament, AAA All-American Amateur Tournament. And my hometown coach said to me, "What should I do if this guy comes to bat with the bases loaded?" I said, "Simple, walk him." He said, "Walk him with the bases loaded." I said, "Yeah, give up 1 run, don't give up 4. Well, he didn't listen to me. The guy got up with the bases loaded, he hit that home run.
2-0 pitch to Anthony Brocado. It stays inside for ball 3. Anthony Brocado is one of the most dangerous hitters in this Frontier League. The reason you might not have heard enough about him is because he's playing on a Florence team whose record is not the greatest. But he's in the top 10 in home runs. In fact, he's 3rd, tied with Zach Bierman, and he's in the top 10 in RBIs. He's got 40 of them.
You know, I should go down to that field tomorrow and inquire what high school these guys played out of. Being a resident of Jersey for 50 years.
The 3-1 to Brocado. Swinging strike 2. Adcock challenged towards the high end of the zone.
Yeah. I thought I knew every high school and college and grammar school there was in New Jersey, but I got to find out. I keep saying Denellen to one of them, the one that graduated from Princeton.
The 3-2 lifted up towards center field. Chasing back is Gordon towards the warning track and brings it in as he approaches the track for out number 3. Brett Adcock allows a runner with 2 outs, but nothing will come from it after 1/2 inning. It's y'all 0, Otters coming to bat. To the bottom half of the first inning we go. Let's introduce you to the man on the mound this evening for these Florence Y'alls, Joniker Villalobos, 6'1", 230, hails from Maracaibo, Venezuela in his second year with this team. A 3-5 record to the season for him. 5.91 is his ERA. The man behind the plate is Cooper Edwards. That Venture Capture Battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. Again, it's Joniker Villalobos on the mound this evening for the Y'alls. Here's the men he'll be facing. A couple lefties start off the lineup for the Otters, and Gordon and Bierman. Then the rest of the way is righties. Anthony Tarellis has earned himself the 5-hole in the lineup this evening, the highest he's seen himself in the lineup so far.
That's the third player you've mentioned from Venezuela with this team. They're all pitchers, too, I think.
Edward Jones, leadoff hitter of the game. Miles Gordon at the plate. And surprisingly enough, the third baseman's going to come put his toes on the infield grass.
Well, again, I refer to my good.
First pitch is a called strike on the outside edge for Miles Gordon.
Good friend and player of the 2006 championship, Frank Scott. He'd have that third baseman even in closer.
Called strike has Gordon down 0-2.
All right, now the third base is moving back because there's 2 strikes. But he's still got a big gap there between third base and
Close pitch there allows Gordon to keep himself alive.
I didn't think Gordon was a pull hitter, that the third baseman would be playing shortstop. Strike 3.
The strike 3 sits down Miles Gordon for out number 1. It's the first strikeout of the game for Joniker Villalobos. That'll ramp the first baseman, Zach Bierman, who saw his average dip under 300 for the first time all year overnight after last night going 0 for 1. He has had a little bit of a difficult last 10 or 15 games. Looking to kickstart it with a couple of base hits.
Well, I'll agree with you. In the last week or two, you're right. He hasn't been that efficient, but I still want him in my lineup.
Yeah, in his last 10 games, he's batting under 200 at 170. But, of course, it's also important to take a step back and realize in the games that Zach Bierman has struggled, other guys have stood up, like we mentioned in pregame.
Right.
He's still an all-star candidate in my book. The 0-2, way up high, and he's able to get out of the way of it.
I don't know if it was last night or the night before, I made reference to his bat was kind of slow. And we have been preaching all year about what a quick bat he has. But he exhibited a very slow bat, and I think that might be why his efficiency has gone down.
The 1-2 pitch stays inside, and it sets up a 2-2. Villalobos sends it home. Called strike 3 on the outside edge, and it's back-to-back strikeouts for the Y'alls.
And you were talking about they could set the record of strikeouts early?
No, Lake Erie could. Lake Erie's the one that's going after.
The one that had
I just thought it was important to note that
okay.
Lake Erie was at the pace they were at.
Oh, okay. I got mixed up. I thought it was this team.
But that being said, this is a Florence team that does strike a lot of batters out. They bounced over 400 total strikeouts on the season last night. First pitch to Davis. Put right back up the middle a little bit. They're going to call it a fair play. The throw down to first is in plenty of time for out number 3. Quick, bottom half of the first inning. We have played one full. Still scoreless, still hitless from historic Bosse Field. As we head to the second inning, we want to walk you through the Frontier League standings, and well, look at that. The Evansville Otters have moved their way back into first place.
Oh, really?
Tied with the Washington Wild Things after last night's results.
Oh, that's right. Last night the Otters won. So Washington lost last night?
They lost last night and evened up the series at the top. Schaumburg, 6.5 back. Gateway and Joliet, both 7.5 back. 10 back are the Crushers of Lake Erie. 12 back are Windy City. 14.5 back is this Florence team. As for the East, Quebec still taking a lead, but Empire State picked up their third win of the season last night. Empire State got a win at Ottawa, which I think is one of the most surprising results we've seen all year. So they have slowly tried to work their win count up over there.
Well, the team I watch would be Empire State. They've got a one-game winning streak going. Be careful. Well, they may be hot.
That's a good Ottawa team, and it's an even better Ottawa team when they're playing at home. And Empire State was able to go up there and get a gritty 6-5 win in the international, not even in the international tiebreaker rule. They had to go to the sudden death Frontier League inning for them to win.
Boy. Oh, so that's even a bigger win.
Yeah. Of course, they did lose game 2 of the doubleheader last night. Axel Johnson at the plate now to kick off this second inning.
So it stopped their winning streak.
Unfortunately. Axel Johnson, another big guy, 6'4", 205 in the box. The 1-0. Fouled off his foot.
You know, when Price was at bat, I was thinking of something, and I'm going to relay it now. Whether you stay at the Ritz-Carlton or the Hotel 8, I don't think those beds are made for 9 people who are 6'9". That must be a difficult thing for a guy like him to sleep in those beds.
Got to lay diagonally in the bed, right?
Oh, is that what it is? Your head sticking out of one end, your foot and feet the other.
The 1-1 for Johnson. Push to the left side and foul. Will get up over the top of Bossy Field. Drop the counts to 1-2. Beautiful crowd on hand this evening. It is packed almost row to row all the way around this place. Both picnic areas are full. The Corona patio deck is full. 1-2 to Johnson. Ooh, nice pitch there, but sunk a little too much. The count's evened up. And after a really long week of hot weather and then rainy weather and then hot weather, it's nice to have a nice night for baseball and have the Evansville community come out.
Oh, yes.
A 2-2. Just misses high.
I don't remember where it was, but I remember somebody complaining, and I said, hey, it was a lady anyway, and I said, hey, lady, you know, I played when we had all 100% wool cotton uniforms, and it's another strikeout.
Swinging strike 3 starts off this second inning. It's the second German-American bank strikeout of the game for Brett Adcock.
Yeah, when you got all wool uniform and it gets wet, I mean, not only did it carry 10 pounds when it was dry, but with that rain, you were carrying an extra 20 pounds, and yet you were still on the field playing.
Ethan Stern at the plate now. First pitch to him. Stays a bit high and maybe inside as well for ball 1.
Well, you know, whether that was high or not is questionable. If you notice, Stern not kneeled, but bent over so that the pitch looked high.
1-0 works itself inside for ball 2.
He kind of ducked under it, which made it look like it was a higher pitch than it was. You know, I was coaching college one game. I had this Japanese boy.
A 2-0 stays high.
He wasn't on scholarship or nothing, but he's just a great fan, so I gave him a uniform to make him part of the team. And we got in this one game, and I said to him, whatever his name was, I said, I'm letting you go pitch hit. I don't want you to swing. What I want you to do is on every pitch, go down on your knees. And he did. It was ball 4. It was the last game of the season. And I was going to give it a second chance. And I told him, don't swing. I want you to walk. Would you believe he disobeyed me? He swung and he got a base hit. Yeah, he was just a great kid. Japanese. His father, he promised me if I ever come to Japan, he would take care of me.
Swinging strike 3 has back-to-back strikeouts for Brett Adcock. His third German-American bank strikeout. Here's the thing about Brett Adcock. He's not going to beat you blowing a pitch past you. But the thing that he does well is he controls the ball well, mixes in his off speed. I think I remember his last time up that you and I were watching, his curveball was very good.
Very effective.
So
yes.
It just depends on which one of his breaking pitches is going to be the one he uses, not as a crutch, but as his go-to pitch all evening long.
The money ball. Yeah.
First pitch to DeNicola is a called strike on the outside edge. Had him kind of fooled there.
What was that, 86? That's not overpowered.
The 0-1 from Adcock. Called strike 2.
Now there's your breaking pitch.
And this is a dangerous situation to be in the box in against Brett Adcock. He's got 4, 5, 6 years of minor league experience, and because of it, this is when he's going to start to toy with the batter and throw some of those pitches that just like that, a batter is going to go chase and run away from. Striking out the side as Brett Adcock. We head to the bottom half of the second, still scoreless from historic Bosse Field. We've played 1.5. Brett Adcock goes up there and strikes out the side with authority, too. And we head to the bottom half of the second. Otters are going to have Baez, Tarellis, and Khalil due up. You know, it's exciting to see Anthony Tarellis moved up to the 5 spot in this lineup. It shows that he's recognized as a consistent enough bat that they want him up there where he can have a shot at RBIs.
I'll agree. I'll tell you, I've been up here since May, and I'm never going to argue with you on anything because you seem to have a great insight. You know these players better than I do. And when you call something, I'm going to listen.
First pitch to Baez stays low for ball 1. I'll say this much. I think it probably helps that I'm with him 6 days a week.
Well, that's true. That's true. You're not sleeping in those small beds, though, are you?
No.
You got the larger bed.
Something like that, yeah. The 1-0 to Baez stays inside and low for ball 2.
You know, I've stayed in the Ritz-Carltons and I've stayed in the Hotel 8s and 6s, and there's no difference. Maybe the toilet paper's a little better, but not too much other.
A 2-0 for Baez. Swinging strike 1. Really committed to that pitch. Even if he had made contact, it would have been off the handle almost. And would have stung the hands quite a bit.
Baez has been going. That's a pretty good breaking pitch. You've got a lefty out there now, but when a righty's throwing, Baez goes for those curveballs low and outside for a lot of strikeouts.
Ball sent right back up towards Villalobos, and he'll fire to first in time for out number 1. That's a good grab from Villalobos to get himself off the mound and grab that.
Well, I don't know anywhere in the book it says a pitcher should field. In my book, there are 9 fielders out there. And the pitcher is what?
Well, and this is a pitcher that finishes just like Nolan Ryan always used to, with the shoulders facing the plate to make a play.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
And Villalobos does that well.
Well, it's not only in position to field the ball, you're in position to protect yourself. Because if that ball comes back and you don't have that hand and glove up in front of your face, you better see a good dentist.
A 1-0 to Tarellis. Catches the zone in the high inside corner. The count evens up. Tarellis probably had his worst night at the plate since joining the Otters last night. 3 strikeouts, and he looked really frustrated after all of those. But in order to bring the day back a little bit for him, he did have a base hit at one point in the game, and that was uplifting. It's nice for him to get that game out of the way. The Otters get the win, and he had his first really tough night at the plate since joining the pros.
Well, I'll agree with you because I thought he looked terrible, just like you were saying. Struck out 3 times, and his bat was slower than the turtle that was trying to run that rabbit. But no, he didn't look that good last night, and he's entitled to. One of the greatest hitters of all time, Ted Williams, only got to hit 3 out of every 10 times. And you could be the greatest.
Takes a pitch inside, and the count evens up at 2-2. It's on the way. Sent out towards center field, chasing back is Zuberer. Towards the warning track, changes positioning and makes the catch in the warning track. That was a tough ball for Zuberer to track down. He changed the shoulder he was running over twice.
Again, ladies and gentlemen out there in baseball world, this man just described exactly what that did. I couldn't have done any better, and that's exactly the way he went after that ball, looking over his right shoulder, then changing, looking over his left shoulder, and he was running back as hard as he could, too.
And, even though his line shows 0-1 on the day for Anthony Tarellis, that contact's uplifting. After a couple of tough strikeouts last night, he made good contact there.
Well, it's 400 to that fence, and I'm going to say it was at least 390.
First pitch to Khalil's down inside for ball 1. Plus, he was hitting into a headwind. So, no headwind there, and it could have carried itself out of here.
Yeah, that's right.
The 1-0 to Khalil stays high for ball 2.
Now, here's another man has risen to the occasion. And, I mean, he has surprised me with his defense. And I was an Armstrong man for short, but I've changed.
2-0 falls in for a called strike. And Khalil will settle in a little bit here. The 2-1. Push to the right side, and it is down for a base hit. Rolling towards the corner. There goes Khalil towards second. He's going to get held up with a stand-up double with 2 outs. And this is one of the loudest time Bosse Field has been all week long. It's a Deerhead double-decker double with 2 outs. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Devin Buckner. Buckner, 2 nights ago, made his professional debut in that game. He got his first professional hit. And then with the team down by 2 in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs, hit his first home run. Now, Otters couldn't come back and win the game. But to hit your first home run as the last man available for your team in the bottom of the 9th, he's got to feel pretty good.
And I'll say the last time he was at bat was that home run. So it's his first time batting after that gigantic home run.
First pitch to him is a called strike. He missed that game earlier this week. Devin Buckner hails from the University of South Carolina Upstate. That was where he played his college ball just this last year. This is his first professional opportunity, and in fact, Thursday night was his first professional game. The 0-1 is on the way to him now. High inside for ball 1.
I never heard of University of South Carolina Upstate. I used to scout down in South Carolina. I love Columbia, University of South Carolina. It was a beautiful, beautiful facility.
The 1-1 for Buckner. Swinging strike 2 has him behind in the count. Yeah, South Carolina has produced Otters talent before, including George Khalil.
Oh, George went to South Carolina?
Former Gamecock, yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, my God. I wonder if he hung out at there's a famous bar down there on the campus down, not off the city, but on the campus.
A 1-2 for Devin Buckner. A half swing that stayed low and inside. They say no, he didn't. So the count evens up at 2-2.
Yeah, when you enter that baseball stadium, there's a big advertisement of some fraternity bar or something.
Two count to Devin Buckner. Long wait before it.
Nice,
and here comes the 2-2.
Strike three.
Oh, beautiful pitch. Strikes out Buckner.
Three.
And that's how the second inning ends. But the Otters get the first hit of the game on a really nice double from George Khalil down the right field line. We've played two. Still looking for our first score from Evansville. To the top of the third inning we go. Otters were unable to do anything with a two-out double, but it's worth noting George Khalil really rocketed that ball down the right field line.
Well, and he motored to second, too. And we've talked about him being eligible for the Kentucky Derby.
Well, the Otters will have to try to keep this game where it's at. Brett Adcock and the Otters return to the field of play. Adcock struck out the side his last time up almost effortlessly. He was just carving through him.
Yep.
First pitch to Cooper Edwards, a called strike. And I was kind of in the middle of saying it when he got that last strikeout. Adcock has enough experience in the minor leagues that he's not a guy who's going to beat you zooming pitches by. Instead, he's going to give you stuff that you'll chase out of the zone. And, well, last inning we saw three different people chase pitches out of the zone, and that's how he picked them up.
And some of your most effective major league pitchers are exactly that type of pitcher. You don't have good velocity, and you don't throw it down the middle. You work the corners.
1-1 count to Cooper Edwards, looking for his first hit with this ball club.
It's 2-1.
Pitch stays high for 2-1. I talked with Adcock a couple different times earlier this year, and I asked him, it seems like your pitch count works up really high. He's like, well, when I'm throwing against rookies, they won't go and chase some of that stuff. It's the experienced batters who have been in the pros for many years that are going to go chase those pitches away. So I have to approach the rookies a little different because they're too disciplined.
That's a different. I've never heard that before, but if that's his logic, you can't fault it.
A 2-2. Swinging strike three. Make it 4 straight strikeouts, 5 on the day. And that one he actually threw the fastball and kind of zoomed it by.
But that was a little high. That was a ball, but again, like you say, he gets batters to go fishing.
Bryant Flette, the 9-hole hitter, at the plate now. The first offering to him. Called strike on the outside edge.
Yeah, this is the guy, if I was behind that plate, I'd work nothing but inside because of his batting stance and his approach to a swing. You lock that ball,
0-1 stays way high, and Adcock knew it right away.
Yeah, keep that ball on his hands and the elbows locked into his chest.
1-1 count with no one on and one out. Adcock kicks and delivers. Swinging strike two. Well, he had Bryant Flotte fooled there. He was way ahead in the swing. His feet were sliding all over the place, too.
And he ended up with a one-hand swing.
Adcock in the driver's seat. Fires home on the 1-2. Called strike three. On the high outside corner, and it's 5 straight Ks.
And he wanted to swing, but had second thoughts and pulled his bat back. He should have continued. Yeah, we're back to the Zuber.
Back to the top of the order where Ray Zuber, the third, the center fielder this evening. Back at the plate. He flied out to center his first time up. Solid contact, but Gordon was able to chase it down. First offering from Adcock is on the way home.
Strike.
Called strike. I'll tell you what, the breeze is flowing through here. It's a nice night for some baseball.
Would you agree with me that Adcock is throwing an awful lot of breaking pitches?
Absolutely. It's his bread and butter.
Yeah.
Anytime you throw 5 straight strikeouts, you're doing something right. So
I would say so. And how many pitches has he thrown total?
I'll have to keep a look. Meanwhile, he's prepped for the 0-1 to Zuber. Called strike on the high outside corner. Late call from Brandon Spivak. That throw right there was pitch number 42 for Brett Adcock. 25 have been strikes.
More than half, yes.
Every Otters starter in the last 5 nights has had a strike ratio of at least 2/3 of their pitches being strikes.
Yep. Well, like I said,
the 0-2, swinging strike 3, and he struck out the side again. 6 straight strikeouts. He's got 7 German American Bank strikeouts. We head to the bottom half of the third. We're still looking for our first run here from historic Bosse Field. Beautiful night for baseball here in Otterville. And we go to the bottom of the third inning. Back-to-back top half of the innings for Brett Adcock that he has struck out the side. Safe to say the kid had his Wheaties this morning. We head to the bottom half of the third, however. Justin Felix, Andy Armstrong, and Miles Gordon due up for the Otters. Just one base runner so far. That was from a double on George Khalil's case. Unfortunately, he was left out there. Do want to issue a quick apology to those watching on Flow Sports. Had a quick outage just there in the opening couple of innings. We think we got everything fixed, and again, we apologize. This week we've had a lot of issues with our internet provider, and unfortunately, all the issues are out of our control. We're doing our best to stay on top of it. We also thank all of you listening here on the Otters Digital Network as well. 1-0 the count to Justin Felix, tonight's catcher. 1-0 catches the zone right on the high edge. First time we've seen a pitch that high as a called strike this evening. The count evens up.
This guy, Lobos, whatever it is.
Yeah, Villalobos.
Villalobos. He's got a pretty good breaking pitch, and he has made some of our batters look foolish with that taking the third strike.
Well, and he's done really good against the righties because he has so much horizontal movement towards them.
Yeah.
Felix falls behind in the count 1-2 after that swinging strike. And here comes the 1-2. Zoom down the left field line will end up in the bullpen of the Yalls.
And every one of those Florence people down there in the bullpen, they all got up and all rushed for that ball. Not one of them ever moved. My God, that's what you call hustle.
1-2 is the count for Justin Felix.
Strike
Called
three.
strike three right down the middle.
The one I just got finished saying, he's mesmerized some of our batters with that particular curveball.
2 straight strikeouts and 4 total for Villalobos now. That'll bring the second baseman, Andy Armstrong, to the plate.
Buckner, he went down the strike zone, the same thing as Felix with that pitch, same pitch. And it must be a great pitch because when you have a batter just looking at it, it mesmerizes them.
First pitch to Armstrong. Stays high for ball 1. That was similar to where Felix had his called strike that last at-bat.
I was waiting for you to say that.
1-0 for Armstrong. Push to the right side and foul will get out of play.
You know, it looked like, and I'm giving an opinion, it looked like Armstrong finally made contact with that ball on that particular pitch after it passed home plate. It was nearly in the catcher's glove.
A 1-1 stays low, and Armstrong retakes the lead in the zone.
And I think that's one of why Armstrong hit so many balls to right side is because he swings late.
2-1 the count. Armstrong waiting on it. Pitch stays way inside for ball 3.
You know, no matter whether he's late or ahead or whatever, if he's making contact, getting hits, you don't change him.
Well, he drops a lot of hits into the outfield. He can bunt very well as well. Very versatile player. He has a foul tip go into the catcher's mask of Edwards. He shrugs it off real quick, and giving him a couple extra seconds is Brandon Spivak, who just walks the new ball up to Villalobos himself.
Well, Edwards was the one they replaced last night with a different catcher, and on his first inning of catching, he had 2 pass balls, or was it wild pitches? I don't know.
I think they were pass balls.
Well, yeah. That advanced the runner from first to second, and he scored on it.
They decided to gamble and bring in a better hitting catcher as Armstrong pushes one to the right side, pretty easily played by Price, and he will win the race to first for the second out of the inning. That'll bring us back to the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Miles Gordon. Gordon struck out his first time up.
Number 6, Miles Gordon.
Gordon taking his time getting back into getting into the box. The first pitch sent towards the right side, off the edge of the glove of Price. He tried to backhand it, and there goes Gordon to second, and he's in. Taking advantage of a lazy play by the right fielder, DeNicola.
I thought he said E. Did he?
Yeah, it's an error on the first baseman.
E3, that's what he said.
But Gordon saw that the ball was rolling slowly and took off towards second and earned himself an extra base.
First baseman, 45, Bierman.
So that'll bring up Zach Bierman to the plate. He struck out looking his first time up. First offering to Bierman. He lines it out towards center. Zubair racing in. Is it going to fall? It's a wonderful sliding catch from DeNicola. Bails himself out for the slow play in the last at bat, and because of it, he gets the Alls out of the inning. Back-to-back innings. The Otters have had a runner on second with 2 outs and left him stranded. We head to the 4th inning, still scoreless from Bosse. We head to the top half of the 4th inning, still scoreless from Bosse. And Brett Adcock and the Otters return out there to the field of play. He struck out the last 6 batters he's faced, striking out both sides. First pitch to Chavez, swinging strike 1. Defense playing straight up all the way around for Alberti Chavez, who has the pitch coming his way. Way inside. The count evens at 1 ball, 1 strike. Don't forget the Otters have one more game on this homestand tomorrow evening, 5:05 first pitch. Dog Days of Summer. Bring the furry friend out to the ballpark as well. There's discounted hot dogs too. Ball sent right back up the middle, down in front of Gordon for a base hit. The first one of the game for the Alls comes here in the 4th inning on a little blooping single.
And that breaks
First baseman,
Adcock's, 5 or 6 consecutive strikeouts. Well, here comes Mr. Hercules.
Brennan Price at the plate now. He was hit by a pitch his first time up, but stranded at first. First offering to him, outside for ball 1. Brendan Price has a very good eye at pitches there in the box. The 1-0 sends it back towards the netting.
Seems to like the high pitch. Well, accommodate him. That's one of the most difficult pitches to hit. You got to have a quick reaction.
Waiting on the 1-1. It's headed his way. Called strike 2, and he immediately knows, that was my pitch.
Well, I know it fooled me. I'm with Hercules. I got fooled on that pitch.
1 ball, 2 strikes. They're going to throw over to first just to check on things, and back in plenty of time was Alberti Chavez. Chavez is a guy you want to keep tabs on. He has the most stolen bases on this Florence team with 7.
Really?
He's 7 of 12. The 1-2 lifted high towards left center field. Gordon parks underneath it and brings it in for out number 1.
Now, in all honesty, I thought that was hit further than where it traveled. And then I look at that flag, and that flag is really, so he was hitting against the wind.
Yeah, the wind is coming, I wouldn't say forcefully, but quite consistent, straight in from left field. So it is a bit hard to hit towards left.
Yeah. With no wind, that might have carried out of here.
Anthony Brocado at the plate now. His first offering is a called strike on the inside edge.
I tell you, Adcock has got a wonderful breaking pitch tonight.
And I think the most important thing is he knows it, so he's going back to it
Right.
over and over.
Well, that's what you got to do. That's a smart pitcher.
And it's also worth noting that him and Felix have worked together a lot, and when they've worked together, they've worked really well together. Together, they have a 3-0 record and a sub 3.0 ERA when they work together. An 0-1 to Brocado. Outside, evens the count up. And I would say, especially in an age of baseball, we're now starting to see pitchers in and out all the time. To have that relationship with the catcher is getting more and more rare, it seems.
Well, I'll tell you what, a good catcher is worth whatever you want to pay because they make pitchers. They don't catch them, they make them.
Well, that's the thing about Felix. 9 times out of 10, Felix calls just about every pitch of the game. 1-1 is lifted high and foul to the right side.
I was telling my son-in-law today, I was talking to my good friend Bob Botts, and I told my son-in-law, I said, I'm going to mention that on the phone tonight. And it was a matter of Botts would be out there pitching, and I'd call for the fastball, and he'd shake me off. He wants the curve, and I'd come back, okay, throw the curve. And then we'd be in the dugout in between the innings, and he'd say, how's my curve? I said, oh, Botsy, it's breaking 6 and 7 inches. It's the best you ever had. He'd say, yeah, I feel it. Botsy never had a curveball, and he never was. Everything was a fastball. But what I was doing is making him feel comfortable out in that mind, out in that
swinging
mound.
strike 3 has Brocado down with a strikeout. The 8th of the day for Brett Adcock. Every single one of them a German American Bank strikeout.
Right. So what as a catcher you're doing? You're building confidence in the pitcher. So that's
well, and I obviously have only got to witness a small piece of it. I'm sure a ton goes in behind the scenes. But Dakota Phillips spent a lot of good sessions with Brody Tanksley, breaking down the pitchers and what they throw well, what they don't throw well, what you have to do to keep them and their spirits high. That's a really good catcher instinct.
Yeah. Well, they say most of the stuff I either spoke with the individual himself, or I read about it, or someone that was associated with him told me. And they say Warren Spahn in his youth was a 95-mile-an-hour pitcher when he pitched here in Evansville.
A swinging strike 2 has Axel Johnson down 0-2. He's already struck out once today.
But he knew in the majors the fastball's not going to get you. So he would practice a curveball in the bullpen for a year before he'd use it in the game. He wanted to perfect it before he brought it. And after he perfected it, then he'd work on the slider.
The 0-2 to Axel Johnson. And it's just fouled back towards the dugout for the Otters.
What you see today is some coach saying, hey, this is how you throw a curve. The guy practice. Oh, my God, it works. And then next time out, he's throwing it. He didn't work on it. You can't do that. You got to practice. 2 strikes and no balls and 2 outs. Low
the
and
0-2
outside.
to Johnson.
That's it.
Swinging strike 3. It's a half-hearted swing, but a swing nonetheless. 9 German American Bank strikeouts for Brett Adcock as we head to the bottom half of the 4th. Adcock must have had the Wheaties today. He is feeling good. Otters bringing Davis, Baez, and Tarellis to the plate after this. Well, we head to the bottom half of the fourth inning. Once again, it feels like we sound like broken records after this week of baseball, but we've got two starting pitchers who are very efficient tonight.
Well, I'm going to say this entire homestand, we've seen nothing but very efficient starting pitchers. They may have not gotten the win or the loss, but overall, the starting pitchers of almost every game we've seen in the last several days have been outstanding.
Well, it's cool to see just how different we're seeing the two pitchers tonight. Brett Adcock heavily relying on his off speed and his breaking pitches. Villalobos, a strong fastball that he's countered with a good off speed as well.
With a good off-speed curve, that's mesmerizes the batter with two strikes. I mean, our batters have watched too many third strikes tonight.
Well, J.R. Davis will kick off this fourth inning of play. He grounded out in the first inning on a play that he thought was a foul, but it stayed fair, and it was another confusing play. I think J.R. Davis has had now 3 of those this year he's grounded into. Regardless, he's sitting 0-1 now after taking a called strike. The 0-1 to him. Lifted high towards the right field side. It's foul. Where's it going to end up? It lands on one of the seats in the Otters bullpen.
Oh, boy. Well, I'm blocked out so far with the window, but I saw Hercules running over.
The entire Otters bullpen vacated it.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want Hercules running into me.
When Price is reporting to the first base umpire, he says that there's too much mud over there and was trying to report that. At this point, that's a little too late. 0-2 the count for J.R. Davis. Put right at the shortstop, and he makes the catch on a line. Alberti Chavez had no doubt. Well, you move that one 1 foot this way, and you get a base hit.
Yes, you're right. Now here comes, to me, the strongest, most powerful man on this team, but he lacks in home runs compared to Phillips and Bierman.
Let's put it this way. If there's someone that can hit a home run 400 feet into the wind, it's probably Jeffrey Baez.
Exactly. But he hits off the back foot too much with a back shoulder dipped it, and he hits nothing but a lot of pop flies.
1-0. He lifts this one high and foul to the right side. There go the Alls chasing after it, and it ends up in foul play and actually out of play.
Right, but that's one of the things he does very, very often in the field of play, and it's nothing but an out. If he would stride into that pitch and rotate his hips, he might be hitting the ball to Newberg.
Otters have 2 bats available on their bench tonight, Steven Sinsley and Brody Tanksley.
You mean for pitch hitting duties?
Pinch hitting, yes. A 1-1 for Jeffrey Baez. Ooh,
Strike.
There it is. Yet again, we see Villalobos pull off that. It looks like a curveball out of the hand because it lifts for a second and then just falls.
Right, and he's got good control of it.
Absolutely. The 1-2 to Baez. Swinging strike 3. And Baez will sit down with the strikeout. It's the 5th one of the day for Villalobos.
And most, if not all of them, come on that one particular off-speed curveball.
The third baseman, Anthony Tarellis, making his way to the plate now. I tell you what, he was just mere feet away from home run number 4 on the season for him. Drove it hard to dead center field. In fact, the ball was caught in line with the 400 sign out there. But it was just a long fly out for him. First pitch to him. Lifted high out there once again. Chasing back is Zubair near the warning track. Not quite as deep this time, and he brings it in for out number 3. Quick half inning for the Otters, and we've played 4 complete. And we only have 2 combined hits in this whole ball game. Starting pitchers are playing well this evening. It's another great ball game here at historic Bosse Field. Glad you're joining us here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. 5th inning coming at you next. To the top half of the fifth inning we go. I want to remind you that Evansville Otters baseball right here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports is presented by Budweiser, the king of beers.
Now, just for my edification, also for our fans, tomorrow's game is what? At 5 o'clock?
5:05 first pitch.
All right, so it's an hour and a half ahead of.
Gates open here at Bossy Field at 4 o'clock. You're welcome to bring your furry friends, as it's the dog days of summer here at the ballpark. Discounted hot dogs. You can bring the dog in. We're going to have our friends from District 13 Little League of Southwest Indiana here.
Oh, okay.
First pitch of the fourth to Ethan Stern. Stays just a tad bit high for ball one on the inside.
You know, as I entered the stadium tonight, I was greeted by GBF radio station.
A half swing results in a called or a swinging strike. The count evens up. And
I know all the ones that were down there. There were two men and a woman, and I'm talking to them, and I said, I know you people weren't around, but Marv Bates, and we have a photo of him here in the press box.
A 1-1 sits sharply to the left side. Khalil picks it up. The throw across the diamond is not quite in time. It is!
Yes, it is!
Oh, my!
Oh, my God. Another ESPN play.
I'll be honest with you, folks. Bill and I just don't have words for some of these plays. George Khalil, once again, just proving that he can do it all.
He went into short left field and without breaking a stride, leaped in the air and threw it wasn't a bullet, but it was accurate that big first baseman, which we rave about, was like a big scooping shovel. Oh, my God.
Andres Rios is going to pinch hit right now for Harrison DeNicola. He shows bunt and has a called strike against him. Again, that's Andres Rios, who is pinch hitting for Harrison DeNicola.
I wonder what that's about.
The 0-1 sits sharply down the left field line, but just foul.
Ooh, I thought he had a double.
About 2 feet to the left side of the foul line. It would have easily been a double.
Yes, and I thought when I saw that going out, I said, uh-oh, we're in trouble.
And then after tomorrow's game, the Otters hit the road for 3. They're going to go face Schaumburg for 3 games. Should be another fun 3 if it's anything like the wins we had earlier this week. All 3 are available 100% free here on the Otters Digital Network, audio only. 0-2 to Rios, and he fouls it back towards the backstop.
And let me tell you, and the people out there in baseball world, I will be tuned in to listen to you. I enjoy listening to you, and I follow the Otters. I may be part of the staff up here, but I'm also a fan.
Tell you what, that Schaumburg ballpark is very unique. It's one of the alternate sites for the Chicago White Sox. So because of that, they've put a lot of money into it. A called strike 3 has Adcock at 10 German-American Bank strikeouts.
So that pinch hitter didn't prove too effective. What did you say? It was a White Sox alternate baseball field?
Yeah, during the COVID year, every ballpark or every major league team set up an alternate site so that they had people available in case someone went down with a positive case of COVID. And the alternate site for the Chicago White Sox was at the Schaumburg Boomers Stadium.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So the entire press box is kitted out with photos from the White Sox that year. It's a very nice ballpark there.
Oh.
If you ever get a chance to visit Wintrust Field there in Schaumburg, you've got to do it. No better time than this week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the Otters face the Boomers there. An 0-1 to Edwards.
Has a
called strike.
He just followed up with another outstanding, biting curveball. I tell you, Adcock is having a good day so far.
Well, and as soon as he got positive momentum on his side, he just rode with it, and that's been the big piece. An 0-2, swinging strike 3, 11 German-American Bank strikeouts for Brett Adcock.
What's our record? I think 12.
I'll go find
13.
it. I'll go have it ready when we come back after this. Bottom of the 5th, coming at you next on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. We head to the bottom half of the fifth inning, and a nice surprise here, thanks to my co-hosts Bill McEwen. We've got Justin Watland here on the air with us as the first pitch goes home to George Khalil, high and inside. You had another start last night. First, I want to ask you about the honoree of getting Frontier League Pitcher of the Week. What was it like getting that news last week?
Oh, that was pretty cool to get that recognition, but it's kind of a shame we don't give more credit to the catchers because they both Felix and Brody did a phenomenal job. They both called really good games and made my job a lot easier having those guys behind the plate.
You had two really rough games at Schaumburg and at Florence a couple of weeks ago, but you've turned it around in the last three. Was it any mental changes there, or was it just kind of turning the page on a new day?
Yeah, I think I was just ready to turn the page and kind of get back into my rhythm of working fast, and I think it seemed to work.
Hard hit ball to the right side from Khalil has him out, and a 4-3 putouts. You mentioned that working with Felix and Brody has been nice for you guys. What has the catcher relationship been with you guys all season? Obviously, you guys started with the two, and you've had a lot of ins and outs. Has that caused any issues?
No, I mean we've had the whole year, and Dakota too. We wish he was still here. It's been great. Probably my favorite set of catchers I've ever had in my career. So I'm thankful to have these guys here for sure.
Devin Buckner takes a pitch off the elbow and will head to first on a hit by pitch. How about Devin joining up with the team with you guys, gets his first professional hit and then his first professional home run? How has he fit into the team here in this first couple of days?
That was pretty awesome. He just came in and it's like he just jumped right into it. It's like he's been doing this for a long time, so he looks great. We're excited to see more out of him.
One of the things that the fans don't really get to see is the in and outs of your guys' life and how things go with the coaches. Is it every day is a new day with this coaching staff, or do you guys kind of take what you've learned in the last couple of nights and push that forward?
I think we play kind of day to day, and we know what we expect out of ourselves and what our coaches expect of us. So, I think when we have the attitude of just coming to the field and winning that day or that specific pitch, we're pretty hard to beat.
Justin Felix at the plate now, looking at a 1-0 count, and you guys have a starting pitching rotation now that is almost anybody can do it any night. Brett Adcock tonight has 11 strikeouts. Parker Brahms has had two separate really good strikeout days. But regardless of the amount of strikeouts or walks you guys are throwing, you've had a lot of 3 or less run outings. What does it say about this starting pitching staff to be this consistent?
It's good, but I think I heard you guys saying it earlier. It's only the middle of the season, and at this point, it's great that we're playing well, but we still got a long way to go. So we're just trying to keep it day by day, and it's nice that we're getting some good performances right now, but we want to make sure that we continue doing that.
Felix ready on the 1-1 with a runner at first and one out. Launches one out towards left field. Johnson will play. It's about mid-depth out there for out number 2. And, one of the things that stands out to me about this Otters team is it seems like every night it's someone different who steps up. Has this coaching staff really built a team from top to bottom that anyone could be the hero anytime?
Yeah, I think what helps us a lot too is our culture. In the dugout, everybody gets along really well in the clubhouse, and I think that when you have everybody gelling so well that it kind of just makes the play take care of itself, and we feel pretty comfortable.
What do you guys see the ceiling for this team as? Is that a Frontier League championship?
Yeah, I mean that's our goal. It's that's the end goal, but just winning every day and taking it one day at a time, I think is going to be our key to doing that. I think we're one of the better teams in the league, and everybody here wants to win a championship.
9-hole hitter Andy Armstrong at the plate now, looking at a 1-0 count. A throw over to first instead of the pitch home. And you've now got to start quite a few games here at Bosse Field. What is it like to not only play here but to play in front of these fans?
I love it. I think we have the best fans in the league, and you look in the stands every night. It seems like we have 3,000-4,000 people. It's pretty great. We get a lot of support. It's also an awesome stadium. I love the history of this stadium. I think it's really cool. It's definitely a special place to play.
Right now, Villalobos is carving through the order fairly well. He's got a runner on first and a 2-0 count towards Andy Armstrong. Again, he's going to throw over and kind of keep worried about Devin Buckner. When it comes to where this team saw themselves at the halfway point, did you guys kind of see as if, hey, we're going to be able to be right in the top of the standings when it came to this All-Star break here in 2 weeks?
We haven't even really talked about it or discussed it. I know we just won, I think, 9 games in a row, and I don't think any of us realized we were about to maybe break a league record. Hopefully that's true. 10. We didn't quite do it, but it wasn't even talked about. It was just we're showing up and we're doing our job, and it was as simple as that.
2-1 to Armstrong, bounces in for ball 3. Yeah, I know that's something that Andy tries to preach a lot, is really worrying about right now and not about what the standings say. Of course, a lot of talk has to be about this 3-game set we're going to see, not only against Schaumburg, but then the 3 against Washington. That's got to be a pretty exciting way to end the first half.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good test for us, and these are 2 really solid teams that we're about to face off with, and it'll kind of show us where we stand against 2 of the better teams in the league.
Wait a second, we'll end the half inning. We want to say thank you to Justin Watland for hopping on here. Good luck the rest of the way, and the whole Otter fan base is proud to have you as not only a honoree as the Frontier League Pitcher of the Week, but as an Otter every single day. So thanks for all you do for the team.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Right back with the 6th inning after this. Well, we've played 5 complete innings, and we're still scoreless here from Bosse Field. Before we get any further, I want to remind you that Evansville Otter Baseball on the Otter Digital Network and on Flow Sports is presented by Old National Bank. Your bank for Evansville, your bank for life.
May I add a comment? I thought you did an excellent job of interviewing the Otter pitcher. I enjoyed listening to you.
Well,
both of you.
It's always nice to get to pick the brain of professional athletes.
Right.
Just to
Well, you do an excellent job at interviewing. I've sat here with many people, and I've listened to many people, and sometimes they'll say, da, 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 and you don't know what the heck they're talking. You do an excellent job.
Bryant Flotte to kick off the half inning. It's sent home for a called strike, and there were a couple things that he says that really jump off the page to me.
Yeah.
One of them is that we're from the coaching staff to every player on the team, it's just, hey, one game at a time. The standings don't matter right now.
Right.
An 0-1, ball's outside for a 1-1 count. And of course, it probably sparked a flame in your heart to hear him say that more credit deserves to go to the catchers on this team.
Well, it's always nice when a pitcher recognizes his battery mate, yes. Bob Feller and Bob Lemon, 2 great pitchers for Cleveland in 48, always complimented their catcher and said they never had the year that they had, both 120, but they had a great catcher.
2-1 to Flotte, high for ball 3.
And speaking of that, I was thinking of the other night when we had all those catchers. One year back in the 60s, the Yankees had 3 catchers, all batting over 300. Can you imagine that? So it made no difference what catcher you had. They were all 300 hitters.
Flotte swings at a pitch high and outside, and the count goes to full for him.
And two of those catchers later went on to be managers, Ralph Hawk and Yogi Berra.
The 3-2 to Flotte.
Strike three.
Swinging strike three before it even made it home. Bill McEwen had called it. That is 12 German American Bank strikeouts on the day. By the way, this is a season high for Brett Adcock, but he's now one away from the team high this season in a single game, which is 13. Both Parker Brahms and Tim Holgraper have done it.
Both have 13, and now Adcock has what, 12?
12.
And yet he's got a couple innings yet to go. Hey, both of those pitchers I enjoy, but I do wish Adcock breaks it.
Ray Zuber, the leadoff man for the Owls, takes the ball outside to kick off his half inning. Do want to start going through the Fox Sports WYFX Frontier League scoreboard. Ottawa got their revenge today, defeated the Empire State Grays 7-4. Tri-City currently has a 7-1 lead on the road at Sussex County in the 8th inning. 1-0 the count to Zuber, and it's fired home by Adcock.
Ooh.
Stays high. The curveball never really broke down.
Well, he lost his balance on that delivery, and he released that thing way high and ended up and nearly fell on the ground. So it was a matter of footing on that particular pitch.
The 2-0 for Zuber. Called strike, high outside corner. In the bottom of the 6th inning, the New Jersey Jackals leading the Trois-Rivières Eagles 8-7. In the 10th, Gateway and Lake Erie tied. The Crushers currently have a chance to win the game with the international tiebreaker rule. I'll keep refreshing and let you know if that one goes final. The 2-1 to Zuberer. Called strike again on the outside corner.
And how about Washington? Where are they?
Just about to them. Schaumburg leads Windy City 6-2 in the 6th. New York leads Quebec on the road 6-3 in the 4th. Washington currently holds a 2-0 lead against Joliet in the 6th inning.
Oh, boy.
The 2-2 to Zuberer, outside ball 3. Joliet got a big win against this Washington team last night. The final score ended up being 7-2 in favor of the Slammers because they scored 4 insurance runs in the top of the 9th.
Really? Wow. And I shouldn't say we, you.
3-2 sent high and foul, out of play.
You constantly are saying you don't have enough runs, you don't have enough runs, we need insurance, we need insurance. And I know I've been trying to tell you, Allstate, you're in good hands with Allstate.
Well, and especially after Thursday night where the Otters found themselves losing a game because they allowed an insurance
That's
run.
right.
Just makes them all that much more important.
You're right.
3 balls and 2 strikes for Ray Zuber. Adcock fires at home.
Ooh.
Just misses. Must have been outside for ball 4.
Boy. Well, last night was a good example of that insurance run really coming in handy.
I'm sure this one's going to surprise you. 12 strikeouts, and he just gave up his first walk.
No, that doesn't surprise me. He's been around that plate all night long, and outside of a couple releases, I think it was because of his falling or landing on his delivery, his arm.
Pitched into the left side, off the glove of Tarellis.
Oh, no.
And there goes the runner towards third. Khalil's going to try to make up for it. A wild throw will allow the runner to get to second as well.
Now, I'm going to say there's where...
It's going to start with an E5 on Tarellis.
And I'm going to say there was a bad play on George, the shortstop. He should never have thrown that ball to third. He should have buried it in his pocket because now you let the runner go to second base.
Well, and it brings up one of the top 10.
Hercules.
Yeah, one of the top 10 RBI men in the entire league to the plate now, Brennan Price. So far on the day, Price is 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch and a fly out to center.
Yeah, and we're in a 0-0 game. So this is a big out.
Adcock asked Felix to come up and re-go through signs. I think he's a bit worried about the runner out there on second, peering in.
That's not something I never believed in, to be honest with you. Players relaying pitches to the batter. All it takes is a mistake, and a lot of people have been hurt. They're saying, "Oh, it's a curveball," and
First pitch is low outside for ball one.
you're sitting there waiting for the ball to break, and all of a sudden it hits your head. You were told, "Well, it was a curveball." Well, it didn't curve; it was a fastball.
Adcock's just got to level his head and stay right where he's been all game long.
Right there, strike.
A called strike on the low outside corner. Keep attacking the zone. It's worked for you.
Right. He's either got to stay low and outside, take the power away from Hercules, or hit him high inside.
You cannot allow Brennan Price to extend the hands. That's
exactly.
rule number one.
That is the big point. Don't let him extend those arms.
The 1-1 for Price. Right back up the middle. Off the mound just right. The throw over to first is in time. It will get one, but a run's going to score on the fielder's choice.
Now, if the runner doesn't go to second, we could have had a double play. The runner would have scored. Well, no. That double play would have been the third out, so there wouldn't have been no play. So there again, a mental error, which again I shouldn't say mental because, if I was out there, I might have done the same thing.
It is an unearned run due to the error on Tarellis, however.
Yeah. Well, if you remember, Tarellis was making that play. He was going for the double play when he never even had the ball. That's so many times. I think it's called anticipation.
Anthony Brocado at the plate. He's another one with a ton of RBIs this year. The 1-0, right back up the middle, off the mound, through for a base hit, and another run will score.
It's another RBI. You just complimented him on his hitting.
And just like that, the Y'alls are up 2-0 in a game that kind of feels like that could be it.
Yeah, especially Adcock was smoothing so nicely on a cool waters, and now you got rough waters.
But the bright side now is there's no one in scoring position. You can just get the outs you need right now.
Yeah.
First offering to Axel Johnson. Just misses on the low outside edge.
You can see that Adcock's a little disappointed the way he just received that ball back from Felix.
Ball sent sharply towards right field. Baez chasing back towards the wall. Gone. A 2-run home run has put the Y'alls up by 4. I tell you what, in a game that Brett Adcock was managing so well, suddenly he's down by 4.
Yep, one little mistake or error, if that's what it was, has led to this situation.
Crazy how one small thing like that can change the
complex.
game thus that much. Yeah.
Yep.
Ethan Stern at the plate now. The first pitch to him. He shows bunt to the left side. Tarellis runs in, picks it up, and has no throw. It's an infield base hit, and the floodgates are open.
You know, how many times have I said it so far this year about third baseman laying back? You got good speed, put that bunt down, and you got a base hit.
It'll bring up the right fielder, Andres Rios. Sorry, he's actually playing second base.
And we've got nobody warming up in the Otter dugout yet. Otter bullpen yet.
Just now, someone's gotten up. Another bunt to the right side, picked up by Adcock. The throw to first in time, and that will end the inning. But not before 4 runs score for the Y'alls. We make our way to the bottom half of the 6th, and suddenly this game is way in Florence's control. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and suddenly the Otters are down by 4. The official scorer came and let me know that all 4 are unearned runs as of right now, but at the end of the day, it's still a tough inning to go through.
What difference does it make if they're earned or unearned if you lost the game?
Absolutely.
It makes no difference. Only thing that hurts is the pitcher, his ERA.
Well, the Otters are going to try to work their way back into this one. Miles Gordon, Zach Bierman, and J.R. Davis will be the 3 that try to kick that off. First, the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Miles Gordon. He's 0 for 2, reaching on an error and striking out so far in the game. Worth noticing, as that inning ended, Bryce Studeville did get up and start to throw, but as soon as he threw his maybe second warm-up toss is when the inning ended, so he sat right back down. First pitch to Gordon, called strike, low inside.
Now that man out there, Villalobos, has been very, very effective with that pitch.
Yes, he has. And he's proven that it doesn't matter if it's a righty or a lefty. He can really fool them both.
Exactly. So if I was a batter, that's the pitch I'd be looking for.
The 0-1. Gordon was looking for it, but was just underneath the pitch.
Yeah, it was a fastball down the middle, and it's 0-2. But the thing is, batters are guess hitters. And if I'm going to bat, I'm going to say, what's his best pitch? Tonight, it's that off speed. That's what I'm looking for.
0-2 stays high.
I bet this is the pitch he gets that off speed.
1 ball, 2 strikes for the center fielder, Miles Gordon. He drives one down the right field line, but just a hair foul.
I thought that was fair. Anyway, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It must have not looked good off the bat because Brennan Price, the first baseman, didn't move an inch from where he was standing. So he must have known that it was foul somehow.
Yep. Good eyes.
1-2 to Gordon. Lifted up towards right field. Chasing back is Stern. Back towards the warning track, and it's actually Zuberer who will haul it in right center field.
And that was his off-speed curveball that Gordon went after. It was a little high, and we got 1 out.
He made solid contact, was just a bit too far underneath it.
Exactly.
First baseman Zach Bierman to the plate now. He's 0 for 2 in the game.
We need batters on base.
First offering to Zach Bierman. Long wait. And now Villalobos sends it home. It's a called strike on the high outside corner.
Yeah, no, here we are. Last inning rooting for Adcock to get that 13th and the 14th strikeout. And now we're afraid he may be on the losing side. What a wonderful game he's pitched so far.
Swinging strike for Bierman has him down in the count 0-2.
1 big error, and here we are 4 runs down.
0-2 goes way outside. Falling off the mound was Villalobos.
But, let's look at it, Matthew. You and I and everyone else, we execute hundreds, thousands of things every day. We're all entitled to make errors.
Well, then that's the thing. I mean, as a starting pitcher, there's only so much you can control.
Right.
A 2-2 to Bierman. A half swing. He's able to keep his bats from going around, and the count fills up at 3-2. Tell you what, if Bierman could stay just a hair late on a pitch and put it down the left field line, he could walk to second.
Well, if he got one out the Ritzy sign, he got a triple maybe.
Zoom to the right side. He says, go ahead, play the shift on me. I'll hit it that way anyway. And he's got himself a 1-out base hit.
Good. Zach, good.
It'll bring up the left fielder, J.R. Davis, who's 0 for 2 on the day. Had 3 RBIs yesterday, but he's due for a base hit. Didn't have any of those yesterday.
Now, the third baseman's moving back. Again, the last 2 batters for them executed bunts. 1 was successful. The second was a very, very close play.
First pitch for Davis. Catches the zone on the outside edge. And Davis is a quick runner out of the box.
Yeah, I mean, if he could put a bunt down, I guarantee it's a base hit. I'll bet the ranch.
0-1 to Davis. Skied high and foul to the right side. It'll get out of play.
All right, foul ball brought to you by Heads Construction.
Pleased to have our friends from Heritage Federal Credit Union here tonight. And 14 WFIE here as well on a League of Their Own night. They gave away hats at the gate. Team jerseys that the Otters are wearing tonight are being auctioned as we speak. And a post-game fireworks show is going to finish out the evening.
Every year that Heritage gives away their hats, it's a quality hat. It's not one of those cheap things that you wear it once and you throw it in the garbage. Their hats are quality. So those of you that didn't come out tonight to see the game tonight, I think you were a loser.
The 0-2 to J.R. Davis. Oh, man, nice pitch there. Stayed a bit inside.
I think we got a break on that one, if I'm my opinion.
The 1-2 to J.R. Davis. Skied out towards shallow right field, chasing in his Stern near the warning track, near the foul line, and he brings it in for out number 2. That'll bring up the right fielder, Jeffrey Baez, 0 for 2 on the day for him.
How many times have you witnessed a baseball game where with 2 outs, the team at bat scores 5, 6, 7 runs? Always with 2 outs.
Certainly doesn't happen often.
Right, but it does happen. So what I'm trying to say is the Otters still have a chance here.
Yeah, the Otters actually had a big night at Gateway earlier this week where all of their runs were with 2 outs. First pitch to Baez stays a bit low for ball 1. And, you know, the home run, I think, is what hurt the worst in that last half inning. Baez is a guy who can do it right back to him. A 2-run home run for him would change this game right away once again. A 1-0. Baez watches it stay outside for ball 2. Bierman's the man on first. Anthony Tarellis is the man on deck. There's 2 outs. The 2-0 on the way home for Jeffrey Baez. Again outside. He's had 3 on the count.
Last year when Baez came in as an addition to the team, I don't know, July or whatever it was, everything he hit was to left center. Out there where the Bud sign is, the Ritzy sign. And I mean, he powdered the balls. So he's got the power.
A 3-0 stays inside, and it's a 4-pitch walk for Jeffrey Baez. And there are now runs on first and second.
Now here's a chance for Anthony to make up for that error. We're going to have we're not going to have a new pitcher.
But we will have a quick meeting up on the bump for the Florence Y'alls.
Is that the manager going out there? He kept looking down at the bullpen, and there's nobody warming up.
I believe that's Eric Minshaw, their pitching coach.
Pitching coach.
There is some movement down there, like someone might pop up. For what it's worth, the Otters also do not have anyone up right now.
Well, maybe that's why he was looking down there, giving signs for someone to get up. Maybe that's what he was looking there.
Yeah, it actually looks like Evan Braybrand is going to start throwing. Yes, indeed. Evan Braybrand.
Oh, okay.
Braybrand is a 6'3", 205-pound man out of Rayling, North Carolina. Played in the Miami affiliation last year. It's low A. So Tarellis making his way to the plate. looking for some answers here with 2 outs and runners on first and second. He just about had himself a home run earlier in the game. The wind's died down now, so some solid contact might be the trick for him. He also flied out to center once again his last time up. First pitch to him here. It's a called strike on the inside edge. 0-1 the count for Anthony Tarellis. Runners on first and second. Villalobos ready up on the bump, and here comes the pitch. Able to check his swing plenty early was Tarellis. He's ahead in the
They call it a strike?
Actually, it looks like he did call it a strike.
I
thought it stayed low.
I thought the catcher scooped it up.
Well, I guess that counts as actually 1-1 for Anthony Tarellis.
Yeah.
The 1-1 catches the zone yet again. Another late call there from Braden Spivak. And Tarellis is down 1-2 in the count.
Well,
One
it's
ball,
up to him
2
to do
strikes
something.
Here. Pitch works way inside. Tarellis is just able to get out of the way of it. That evens the count up at 2-2. Baez on first, Bierman on second. Anthony Tarellis hoping to keep the 6th inning alive for the Otters. Yoniker Villalobos fires home. Swinging strike 3 from Tarellis.
God!
Ends the half inning, and the Otters strand 2 runners out there. They still trail by 4 as we head to the 7th inning. See what Brett Adcock and the Otters can do right after this. To the top of the 7th we go. And Brett Adcock and the Otters return out to the defensive side of things, trying to keep the game where it's at. First pitch to Cooper Edwards is a called strike on the inside edge.
I'll tell you what, I feel sorry for Adcock. I thought he was pitching a great game. One big mishap, and here it is.
The 0-1 big curveball stays high. Well, the game would feel a lot better if it was just the error that scored the run. But I think that 2-run home run took a lot out of his sails.
Yes, it did.
The 1-1 to Edwards. Sent foul back towards the netting, and he falls back in the count 1-2.
Yep, that's, he may be reliving the error, and therefore his efficiency won't be there on the mound.
Got to have a short memory at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the grand scheme of things, Adcock's still working well in this game. 1-2 just misses outside. He just passed 90 pitches, so he's still well young in his pitch count as well. 2 balls, 2 strikes. On the way to Cooper Edwards. Swinging strike 3.
13 strikeouts.
And Brett Adcock becomes the third Otters pitcher of 2022 to throw 13 strikeouts in a single game.
And for anybody that knows baseball, that is an accomplishment.
I have a feeling it might not be his last, though.
I hope not. I hope he breaks the record.
Bryant Flatte at the plate now. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts so far. First pitch to him. Outside ball 1.
And I also hope the Otters come up with 5 runs, so he gets the. Maybe he don't get the win, but he won't get the loss anyway.
1-0 the count to Flatte. And Adcock steps off for a second, regroups. Now he's ready to go with the 1-0. Pitch coming home.
Strike. Ooh.
Just misses low. A 2-0 count.
I guess the umpire didn't hear me.
Guess not. Otters are playing straight up all the way around. The 2-0 coming home. Is a called strike right at the knees. A long wait before calling that strike.
You know, you've said it several times, and I agree. This umpire kind of delayed in his calls.
The 2-1. Sent foul back towards the netting, and Flatte is evened up at 2-2 on this count. That was pitch 100 for Brett Adcock on the
night. Is anyone warming up?
Not for the Otters, and actually not for the Y'alls either. 2-2 for Flatte. Misses low, and the count goes to full. Three balls, 2 strikes for Bryant Flatte. No one out, or sorry, no one on, 1 out. The 3-2.
Strike 3.
Called strike 3.
14 strikeouts. The all-time record.
14 strikeouts for Brett Adcock is the most in a single game for an Otter all season. Both Parker Brahms and Tim Holgraver had done 13 this year. But the kid, Brett Adcock, has taken his 14th victim.
He's got to get the win. The Otters have got to come back and score. Give this guy the win. He deserves it.
First pitch for Ray Zuber.
Strike.
Ooh, big curveball in for strike 1.
I mean, this is the best I've seen Adcock all year.
Absolutely.
And I don't mean the 14 strikeouts. I'm talking about control.
He looks very in control.
Yes, he's been in command of his pitches all night long.
The 0-1 coming home. Low outside, and count evens up.
You know, you can have 14 strikeouts because the batters are swinging at bad pitches. They're not swinging at bad pitches. They're just missing the ball. That's it.
Otters.
Plus, they've been mesmerized. Stay there watching the third strike.
The 1-1.
That's a strike.
Again outside for ball 2. Defense all playing straight up for Ray Zuberer. There's no one on and 2 outs. If somehow Zuberer gets himself on base, up next would be Alberti Chavez. The 2-1. Called strike 2.
Well, if nobody's warming up for the Otters, that means if this guy gets on, we're not going to have any pitcher coming in to take him out.
The 2-2 for Zuber. Right back up the middle, over the head of Adcock. Picked up by Khalil. The throw to first. In time. And that is how the top of the 7th ends. Time to stretch here from Evansville. Otters still down 4 in this one. They're going to see if Khalil, Buckner, and Felix can bring it back in the 7th. And we head to the bottom of the 7th inning here on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. Evansville needs to get some runs in this half inning, even if it's just 1 or 2. Get something that breaks the ice and gets you a little closer.
I agree with you. I mean, they need something.
Jake Polansk is starting to warm up for the Otters out there in right field. So it could be, or it is possible that we've seen the end of Brett Adcock's day. If we have, so disappointing that that's the way it happens to end.
14 strikeouts and 1 walk. Was that what it was? One
yeah,
walk?
1 hit by pitch.
Yeah. Oh, and a hit by pitch. Oh, yeah, Hercules. He hit Hercules the first time up.
George Khalil, Devin Buckner, and Justin Felix due up in the half inning. Kind of feels like if the Otters were going to get a run of a couple of batters back to back, it might be these 3. Some of the ones you don't expect.
Well, I was surprised at Buckner last time up when he took that 3rd strike, and that was.
Now, I will say this much. Keep in mind, the Otters have Steven Sinsley available to pinch hit.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if we see him get an opportunity in the closing stages of this.
Well, it'd be interesting in who he's pitch hitting for.
It's kind of hard to tell.
I know it.
The only ones I could really see him doing it for is probably either J.R. Davis or Devin Buckner.
Well, I'd keep Buckner in because he got 2 hits the first game. He struck out the last time, okay. But I'd give him another chance. JR, okay. But I'm not going to take Armstrong out because we need his glove out there.
Yeah, you can't get rid of Tarellis or Armstrong or Khalil for that matter because of their defensive efforts out there. First pitch to Khalil. Broken bat sent towards the shortstop. He'll bring it in easily for out number 1.
There goes
some more lumber caused that one to be pretty simple. Go grab some new lumber at Niehaus Lumber.
Well, you know, a lot of managers, myself included, if I was, in this situation, I'd have all our batters taking a pitch, a strike. Don't give this guy, like now, 1 pitch, 1 out. Don't help him.
For those watching on Flow Sports, there was a look at Jake Polansk warming up in the bullpen for Evansville. Devin Buckner at the plate now. The first pitch coming to him. High and ends for ball 1.
A walk is just as good as a hit.
Absolutely it is. Buckner hails from Lexington, Kentucky. A few hours down the road.
Yeah.
The 1-0 is on the way home towards him. A swinging strike on a low pitch evens his count up.
There's a case of what I'm trying to say. Take a strike. That thing was low. Should have been ball 2, but he was swinging. Now, if he was to take a strike, it would be ball 2. My grandson makes a trip to Lexington every day with a tractor trailer. Back and forth every day, Lexington.
The 1-1. A foul tip into the glove of Edwards. And Buckner's down 1-2 in the count.
And that was a high outside pitch. He was very, very lazy in a swing. Come on, Buckner. I'm rooting for you.
The 1-2 to the DH Buckner. Pushed towards the right side and brought in by Rios at second. Wasn't quite hit strong enough to get over his head.
No.
So back-to-back unfortunate lineouts for the Otters, just not getting enough contact. It'll bring up the catcher, Justin Felix, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout.
So Felix Armstrong would be the first batter up in the 9th. I'm going to leave him. Gordon. We've seen Gordon get a home run at 9th inning at several occasions.
First pitch to Justin Felix. Hefty swinging strike 1 on a pitch high and inside.
Again, take that first. Let them call the first strike. Don't give in. But I'm up here in the press box.
The 0-1 high inside. The count evens up. Otters certainly running out of offensive opportunities as we sit here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Florence leads by 4. The 1-1. Pitch is, I believe, off the mask of Edwards and then back towards the netting. So Felix will live to see another pitch.
Edwards looks like he's got a space helmet on.
And it looks like Villalobos is going to step off and clean off the cleats real quick. There is an arm warming up for Florence, by the way. Just can't tell the number down there. The 1-2 to Felix. Stays high. Count evens up.
Well, if I was the Florence manager, I'd leave Lobo in. He deserves to win. Well, 2 hits. Here we are in the 8th inning. Others have only got 2 hits.
The 2-2.
Strike.
Stays high and the count fills.
Let's say Bierman's got a hit and George has got the only 2 hits. George's double and Zach's base hit.
3-2 for Felix with 2 outs and no one on here in the 7th. The 3-2 stays high and it's a 2-out walk for Felix.
Well,
Sidewalk Cafe and Bar.
It's got to start with someone.
if Armstrong can get on with a hit or a walk and Gordon was to execute a home run, we'd be 1 run down and we'd be sitting pretty good going in that inning if that was all
Into
possible.
the 8th. Just in the 7th inning now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. When I get so emotional, I lose track of my wife's name.
Armstrong at the plate. 2 outs, runner on first. Just needs to get himself on base. First pitch to him stays high, ball 1. Armstrong, of course, the former Oregon State Beaver, hails from Salem, Oregon, not too far from there. Was a first-year pro last year for the Ogden Raptors in the Pioneer League. Found his way to Evansville, and he's kind of found his way into a role of a guy who can do just about anything. Strong defensive player. Consistent bat as of late. And he's one of the best on the base paths for the Otters.
You know, in 2006, we had a catcher from Portland, Oregon. And he struck out so many times. And one day I went up and I said, "Do you wear glasses?" He said, "No." I said, "Do you see the ball?" Well, we sent him to check on his eyes. He needed glasses. Can you imagine that?
1-0 stays high, and Brett Adcock does have a pitcher's jacket on, so I do assume that his day is over, and we will see Jake Polansk as soon as the Otters return to the field. The 2-0.
Good.
That one catches the strike zone at the elbows.
Right, that was a good strike, and Armstrong held up. You know, I always like, I'm bragging now, but you know, I'm bragging. I always like to brag about talking to Jim Rice, the great outfielder for the Red Sox, Boston Red Sox.
The 2-1. Armstrong bunts to the left side.
Base hit.
It's going to roll and a great heads-up play from the third baseman, Flotte. Great heads-up play there.
That was you're right. If it didn't roll foul, oh boy, Armstrong's a good player. Anyway, Jim Rice was a great outfielder with the Boston Red Sox. And in Cleveland one night, I said, "Do you see that ball? You're hitting everything to the right side. Foul balls to anyways, no, I'm okay." Next year he had glasses. So I'd like to say I contributed to his career.
Heartbreaking there for Armstrong. That close to a base hit, but a very smart, high baseball IQ play from Bryant Flotte. Lets it go out of foul territory, and the count evens up at 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The 2-2. Sent on the ground towards the second baseman. He'll step on second for out number 3. And we've played through 7 full innings. Evansville still trails by 4. To the top of the 8th inning we go. Before we get any further, Evansville Otters baseball on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports is presented by Bud Light. Without further ado, let's introduce you to the new man on the mound for the Otters. Jake Polansk is going to get the nod out of the right field bullpen. For Polansk, it is his first appearance since the middle game against Schaumburg on Wednesday night, where he gave up no runs on no hits, facing the minimum 2 batters in his 2/3 innings of work. This call of the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Polansk on the mound. Felix behind the plate. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000.
Now, excuse me for my ignorance, but I know we spoke about it earlier. The 4 runs charged to Adcock, are they earned or unearned?
They are all unearned. The final line for Adcock, 4 runs. Like I just said, no runs earned on 4 hits across 7 full innings, 1 walk, 14 strikeouts.
Okay, but they're unearned. That's the point. Right.
And 70 of his 110 pitches were strikes. First pitch is high inside for ball 1 against Alberti Chavez.
So that's the only positive thing he could brag about tonight, that those runs were unearned.
1 ball, no strikes for Chavez. Polansk sends it home. Zoom down the left field line and foul, out of play. As I began to get things prepped for tonight's game, one of the things that really stood out to me about Jake Polansk, his rough performances are because he's thrown into games with lots of runners on. Very often there's 2 or 3 runners on when he enters a game. When he's pitching with the bases empty, he has an opposing batting average of 121.
Really?
He's astonishing on the mound when he's got nobody around him and he can really focus on just the man at the plate.
Okay, well, he's got his chance to show that you know what you're talking about.
2 balls, 1 strike to Alberti Chavez. Stays low, maybe a bit outside, but regardless, it's good for another ball. 3-1 the count. Don't forget that the Otters and Y'alls conclude their 3-game set tomorrow evening. 5:05 first pitch. You can catch the game right here. The 3-1, a half swing, and it's a called strike. Well, the Otters certainly blessed by a big crowd this evening. 4,860 in attendance on a Saturday night. The 3-2 to Chavez. Skied out towards left center field. Gordon is chasing back towards the wall, and it's off of the tailor-made sign. The throw-in's not in time, and it's a stand-up double to lead off the inning for Alberti Chavez. Not at all the way the Otters wanted to start the 8th.
No, and that was pretty far hit, 370 at least? And, I still believe the lights aren't adjusted properly because I never saw it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I only saw the ruffle of the tailor-made sign as I assumed the ball hit it.
Oh, okay.
Other than that, I didn't really see where the ball landed.
Oh.
I just kind of assumed that was the ball hitting it.
Okay. I know. I just look at the outfielders and whatever they show you, that's what you assume.
Brennan Price at the plate now. The first pitch to him. Skied foul to the left side, out of play. He got his 41st RBI of the year, putting him up to 7th in the league. And right after him, Anthony Brocado came up and said, no, you can't go without me. He hit his 41st RBI, and they're now tied at 7th once again. 2 solid hitters in the middle of this lineup. The 0-1 to Price. Again, super foul to that left side. Seems to be a bit late.
You're right.
There's a runner on second, no outs here in the top of the 8th. Jake Polansk's trying to keep this game at bay. The 0-2. Sent towards Khalil on the ground. It's off the heel of his glove. Running in is Gordon. He'll pick it up. A run's going to score. An RBI is going to go to Brennan Price. And George Khalil is going to be credited with an error.
Well, I think, again, it was a matter of anticipation of throwing the ball before you ever got it. So, I don't know. And the run scored, right? So that's another RBI for that. No, he wouldn't get an RBI in an error. You don't get an RBI in an error.
First pitch comes in outside for ball one.
At least that's my ruling.
It's an RBI in the scorebook, at least as the scorers put it in. So
is that what? Well, I mean, that's what our score put in?
Yes, the official
right,
score.
But I mean, the rule is, I think you can't get an RBI in an error. But again, I'm not going to argue.
A 1-0 stays outside. I think you don't get the RBI if it would have ended the inning and the run wouldn't have scored otherwise. But even if Khalil makes the play cleanly and gets it to first, there's still a chance for a run to score. I think that's how the rule's written. I don't know it exactly. A 2-0 misses outside yet again.
Well, I know if we had the deputy commissioner of the Frontier League here, he would settle it. I know that. Probably one of the best general managers we ever had here at the Otters. Anyway, we're what, 5 down now instead of 4.
A 3-0 count to Anthony Brocado. Inside yet again, and there's runners on first and second now with no outs. And just like that, the Otters are going to get Tyler Spring up and throwing in the right field bullpen. Much like it was about 1 p.m. here at the stadium, when it rains, it pours for the Otters. Thought they had got things under control. Brett Adcock was cruising in this one. Suddenly an error turned into 1 run, then 2, then 4, and now 5 after the pitching change.
And the inning is not over. It's no outs and runners are in scoring position.
First pitch to Axel Johnson is on the way now. Catches the outside edge just barely for a called strike 1. I won't lie to you, Tyler Spring warming up rather quickly there in the right field bullpen now. 0-1 to Johnson. Swinging strike 2. He wanted to add 3 runs to the scoreboard with that swing.
And I tell you, if he did make contact, its chances are it was going to go to left center, and there is a big gap out there. 2 runs might have scored, depending how fast Gordon got to the ball.
0-2 for Axel Johnson. Still no outs. Still 2 on. The 0-2. Swinging strike 3. And Polansk's got himself the first out of the inning. A strikeout.
Well, you know, you could say to yourself, why didn't the manager bunt those runners over to second and third? No outs. But I think the answer was simple. You'd say, well, how many more runs do you need? You got 5 already, so those 2 really, they're nothing but insurance runs.
Ethan Stern at the plate now. First pitch to him is a swinging strike. Stern's last time up, he earned himself a single. Out at second is Brennan Price. At first, Anthony Brocado. And time is called behind home plate. Grand scheme of things, if tonight's a night that you can't get the game to fall in your favor, you won game 1 of the series. You're able to still win the series tomorrow. Everything's still all right.
Well, yeah.
Ball sent to the left side. Pulled it out of the air by Tarellis, and it must have bounced on his way to him. They say that he made the play in foul territory, and everyone will go back to their original starting locations.
Right. Your philosophy, what you just mentioned, is okay. I disagree with it because I don't know. I don't know. I tell you, situations like here, I lose mental capacity.
Polansk taking some extra time up there on the bump. 0-2 count to Ethan Stern. 1 out, 2 on. The 0-2. High inside.
Ooh,
That's a 1-2 count.
That came close to hitting him.
The Alls do have a man warming up. He kind of is warming up at the speed that would indicate that he's coming in next inning.
And he's got no one down there protecting him either. There's no other players out there protecting him.
A 1-1 is chased, or sorry, a 1-2 is chased low and away, and Stern will sit down with a German American Bank strikeout back to back for Jake Polansk. That will bring up the second baseman, Andres Rios. Rios checked into the game as a pinch hitter back there in the 5th inning.
Struck out, did he not?
He struck out and then entered the game as the second baseman. He then grounded back to the pitcher back in the 6th. He tried to bunt for a base hit. His first opportunity here, skies it behind home plate. It'll get out of play, however.
Overhead down ball brought to you by X Construction.
And there'll be a quick meeting up there on the mound to discuss things. Walk through a couple more finals for you here across the Fox Sports Frontier League scoreboard. Tri-City defeats Sussex County on the road 7-3. New Jersey is just about to finish off an 11-7 win over Trois-Rivières. Gateway defeats Lake Erie in a Frontier League sudden death 11th inning. And it appears, just so I know, it was because Gateway decided to play defense and kept the Crushers from scoring. 0-1 for Andres Rios. On the way from Jake Polansk. Sent to the right side, diving Bierman, and it gets past. Biles will pick it up in right field. The throw in will not get any of the base runners. A run will score on an RBI single from Andres Rios.
Now, one of the things I always did when I was on the coaching lines, or even when I was down there with the gear on, I always looked at the runner coming around third, whether he tagged that bag or not. In my observation, Mr. Price just ran over that bag and never touched third. This would be a good chance to appeal. And that would give you the third out, no runs.
As it stands, the Otters trail by 6 as we still sit in the top of the 8th inning. 2 outs, 2 on.
Yeah. Another thing I used to say to my players, always make sure they tag the bag.
First pitch is a swinging strike 1. Couple more scores for you. In the top of the 8th, Schaumburg leads Windy City 6-4. New York with a narrow 6-5 lead at Quebec in the bottom of the 6th. Washington has extended its lead to 3-0 in the 8th inning against the Joliet Slammers. The 0-1. Ooh, nice pitch there from Polansk. Fell into the inside of the zone for a called strike 2. Cooper Edwards 0 for 3 on the day with a trio of strikeouts. The 0-2 bounces in, gets away from Felix, and another run scores. Make it 7-0. As the pass ball allows Brocado to come home. Attempting to steal on the play was Rios as well, by the way.
He had that base stolen.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you noticed. He was running to second base before the pitcher released the ball because our pitcher never looked over there.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Cooper Edwards.
It's just like now the pitcher's looking in, sees. Never looked around to see where the runner is.
The 1-2 bounces in. Felix is able to keep this one in front of him, however. And the count evens up at 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner at second. 4 runs in the 6th, and now 3 runs in the 8th is what has given Florence their 7-0 advantage.
7 runs, but only 6 hits.
The 2-2 to Edwards. Swinging, strike 3, and finally the 8th comes to an end. 3 more insurance runs added for this Florence team. We head to the bottom half of the 8th. Otters trail by 7. To the bottom of the 8th inning we go, and a new pitcher on the mound for the Florence Yells. Evan Braybrand is going to get the nod out of the bullpen. He's 6'3", 205. And last year, he played for the Juniper Hammerheads, who are the low A affiliate of the Miami Marlins. Hails from Raleigh, North Carolina. And he's looking to keep this game right where it's at. This call of the bullpens presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Braybrand on the mound. Edwards behind the plate. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000. Edward Jones, leadoff hitter of the game, will kick it off in the 8th inning. Miles Gordon, 0 for 3 his day thus far. Gordon at the plate now. First pitch to him from Evan Braybrand. Misses low, ball 1.
Now, let's see if we're taking a strike or we're swinging. We start at the 8th inning off by swinging at the first pitch and flying at the center.
One-0 count to Miles Gordon. Pitch towards him. Swinging, strike 1, evens the count.
Well, I guess there goes my comment.
I just received word and saw as well, all 7 of the runs are unearned, caused by errors. And that's what plagued the Otters tonight.
Yes. 2 infield errors.
The 1-1 to Gordon stays inside, and he takes the lead in the count once again. There is an Otter warming up down there in the bullpen. Having troubles figuring out exactly who it is. These red numbers are a little bit hard to see where the shadows exist in this ballpark. The 2-1, a called strike on the low outside corner. Looks like it could be Tyler Spring down there. Regardless, Otters have to get some offense rolling. 2-2 the count. To Gordon. Oh boy, takes a pitch just inside. The count goes to full. Post-game fireworks planned for after the game this evening. Presented by our friends at Heritage Federal Credit Union. The 3-2 to Miles Gordon. Pushed foul, and he'll keep himself alive in the count.
You say we're having fireworks tonight? Generally, when we have fireworks, the aerial fire department truck is out there in center field. We always saw the extension, you know, they're there to protect that building across the street, I guess.
3-2 the count to Miles Gordon. And it's again sent foul. I believe as soon as the 8th inning ends is when they call them over and let them know it's time for them to come over here. So that's why we don't see them out there yet.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong there, but usually it seems as it's the middle of the 9th when they show up.
Yeah. Well, I know they always show up before the game.
Yes, indeed. Three balls, 2 strikes. And Miles Gordon is going to sit down on a strikeout. It's the first one of the game for Evan Brabrand, and that will bring up the first baseman, Zach Bierman. Did want to go through the final line score for Yoniker Villalobos, who gives up no runs and 2 hits across 7 full innings, walks 2, strikes out 6. He pitched very well.
I thought he struck out more than 6, but I'm not going to argue. The thing is, he had a very effective off-speed curveball.
Zach Bierman ready at the plate. The first offering to him, called strike on the outside edge. And immediately he falls back in the count. He's got the heavy shift against him. 3 infielders on the right side.
And Zach's one of the he's got one of the only 2 hits we have.
An 0-1 low is swung on and missed. And falling back in the count is Bierman.
I remember you making a comment that even though they got the big shift, he proved that he was more powerful in giving the hit.
The 0-2 for Zach Bierman. Fouled it off his foot.
You know, back in the old days of the 40s, 50s, and 60s when Ted Williams was playing, you could have the entire defensive team be in right field, and left field, shortstop, left field, center field was unoccupied. Ted Williams would still prove that he was a better hitter, and he'd still pull the ball for base hits. That's when you have confidence.
No balls, 2 strikes to Zach Bierman. The pitch is on the way from Evan Brabrand. Skied towards left, and it's going to get fouled out of play. Bierman 1 for 3 on the day. Had that single his last time up. Otters conclude the 6-game homestand tomorrow afternoon. 5:05 first pitch here from historic Bosse Field. Gates open at 4. The 0-2 to Zach Bierman. Cranked down the right field line, just foul.
Well, he's earning his pay tonight.
If you can't join us in person tomorrow, 4:50 is when the pregame show will start here, both on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. Bill McEwen and I will walk you through each and every pitch of the game, just like always. The 0-2 for Zach Bierman with 1 out, nobody on. A swing on a pitch low. He'll run down towards first. The throw down there is in plenty of time. And a drop third strike. Sits down Bierman.
You know, I'm just looking at that throw from the catcher, and I'm thinking to myself, as a former catcher, I've made that play several times, but I never had the Statue of Liberty down on first base to make my catch. I mean, that's great having Price down there. He's like the Statue of Liberty.
J.R. Davis at the plate now. 0 for 3, a couple of outs in the air, and then a ground out as well. First offering to Davis is on the way. Inside, ball one.
Did you know the Statue of Liberty is actually in New Jersey and not New York? People don't realize that.
1-0 count for J.R. Davis. Defense playing straight up all the way around for him. Takes a pitch just outside for ball two.
Yeah, because the Statue of Liberty is in the New York harbor, they refer to it being in New York. But it's on the New Jersey side of the river that it's located.
2 balls, no strike for J.R. Davis. Shaking off a couple of pitches as Braybrand finally nods at one. The 2-0, again outside, when the count extends to 3-0.
This would be great if this was the start of a 8-run rally.
It's got to start somewhere for the Otters.
I know it.
Someone's got to get on base first. Three balls, no strikes for Davis. Called strike right at the elbows. First strike of the at-bat.
Wouldn't have been the situation have changed if Armstrong's bunt had stayed fair. Another break that the others didn't get.
Would have been a strange what-if scenario, I guess.
Yes, right.
3-1 for J.R. Davis. Zoomed into left field and down for a base hit. Bat had to break to get it done. There went some more lumber. Get your new lumber at Niehaus Lumber. But regardless, J.R. Davis has himself on base with a 2-out base hit. Rally had to start somewhere, and he said, why not me?
Yep, and it was a beautiful base hit. Line drive over short.
It'll bring up Jeffrey Baez, the right fielder, who's 0 for 2, has a walk on the day. Tell you what, Davis looks tiny compared to Brennan Price standing there on first. Davis stands at 5'10", Price stands at 6'9".
Nearly 1 complete foot bigger.
The batting helmet's doing a little bit of favor for J.R. Davis. First pitch to Jeffrey Baez. Just misses, must have been outside a hair, maybe high a little bit.
Yeah, I would have thought what you just said, a little high and outside.
From our field of view, it looked pretty good.
Yes.
Davis with a good lead over at first.
Don't get picked off.
There's 2 outs and a 1-0 count to Jeffrey Baez. The pitch home. Sent to the left side, picked up by Flotte to second for the one they need, and that will end the 8th inning. And after 8 full, it's Florence 7, Otters 0. We're down to the final frame of this one. Otters have to get something going quickly. To the ninth inning we go, and for the first time this season, Drake Nightingale, called upon out of the bullpen. He finally got pulled off the injured list just a few days ago. Was rehabbing I believe, shoulder injury all season long. He's finally ready to go on the mound with his first start of the year, first appearance of the year. He stands 6 foot 205. It's called The Bullpens, presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Nightingale on the mound. Felix behind the plate. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000.
May I ask you a question? Did he travel with the team on the road, Nightingale?
He has the last couple of weeks.
And yet he was on the DL.
Yeah.
So he couldn't play.
He was ready to be activated at any point, though. So that I think it was a matter of if someone were to be hurt, he was ready to be activated in an emergency situation, but they wanted to keep him off as long as possible to make sure he was rehabbed and ready to go.
Okay.
0-1 to Bryant Flatte. Big curveball, just missed on the outside edge.
Now, the reason I'm saying, I'm looking at the administrative part, you're paying him meal money for being on the road. You got to pay for a hotel, the bus, and everything else. And if he's not eligible to play, you don't add finances to your budget.
Drake Nightingale played in the Chicago White Sox organization last year in the Rookie League, as well as the New York Mets Single A.
So he was two different organizations in the same year. So he was either traded or had to get from one to the other unless he was traded.
Looks like he was traded from the Mets over to the White Sox organization in August of last year. 3-1, and Bryant Flatte is going to walk. That'll bring up the center fielder, Ray Zuberer, who is 0 for 3 on the day.
Ray Zuberer the third.
There's a runner on first now with no outs. Nightingale attended Summerall High School in Summerall, Mississippi before attending the University of South Alabama. First pitch home, just misses on the inside edge.
We have a special birthday announcement coming up to share with the ballpark.
How did we acquire him? Was he a workout tryout or recommended by somebody?
The 1-0 home falls in for a called strike.
I'd like to wish a happy third birthday to Brennan Price here at the ballpark.
Not sure exactly how he was brought upon, but I know last year when he played in the White Sox and Mets organizations, he had a 3-4 record combined with a 4.08 ERA, 48 strikeouts in 46 innings.
Not bad. I mean, 3-4 record's not that bad.
Yeah, he was basically a bullpen arm the entire time, had a couple of saves as well. It sounds like when they brought him in, the original design was for him to be in the starting rotation, but right now there's just not a spot on the starting rotation. 2-1, a nice throw over, but it's not quite in time to grab Flatte. Two balls, one strike. To Ray Zuberer, no outs, a runner on first. Does look like Florence is warming someone up or will have someone ready for the bottom of the ninth. The 2-1. Hefty swinging strike two.
Happy birthday to Adam Buckner, who's at the ballpark tonight. Happy birthday to Adam. It's just been your birthday evening, Adam, with the Evansville Otters. Enjoy the
Defense is set up straight up in the outfield, double play depth in the infield. Decent lead by Bryant Flatte over there at first. And the 2-2's coming home for ball 3 inside. Otters have a crowd of just under 5,000 here for a league of their own night. They gave away hats, have a themed jersey auction going on, and fireworks after the game. The weather was perfect for the game this evening. 3-2 zoomed out to right field. Baez is going to watch that one fly, and it's just foul.
Yeah, I never looked at anybody but the batter, how he stood at home plate. So I guess he indicated it was foul ball from the beginning.
Well, it probably ended up in the street out there. It was smashed out there,
Really?
but was not on line, so it's just a really long strike. Count is full for Ray Zuberer with no outs and a runner on first. Otters want something on the ground. The 3-2. It's ball four. There's runners on first and second.
So what's that, 2 walks now?
Yeah, back to back.
Here comes the new pitcher, and we walk 2.
It'll bring up the shortstop, Alberti Chavez. Chavez officially is 2 for 4, but he's reached in 3 of his 4 opportunities. Once on a single, once on a double, once on an error. He's come around to score twice. The first pitch to him, called strike at the elbows. Certainly a night the Otters will want to have at least a couple of innings washed from their memories.
Oh, I would say after this game, if it ends up like it is.
0-1 one ends up over the head of Chavez.
There's an old saying, put it in your pocket and lock it, and forget about it.
Very sad way for Brett Adcock's day to finish. Really in control of this game, then had one error go against one of his infielders, and it just hit the fan quickly on him.
I mean, the guy was coasting. He had a brilliant game pitching. 14 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 1 mishap.
The 1-1 sent to the left side, picked up by Khalil to second for 1 to first. Oh, my goodness.
I cannot believe.
What a double play. What a play from Khalil to make it happen.
You know, and one of the problems with tonight is George out there made one of the errors that put extra runs on, and yet here he comes. He executed a double play. It's unbelievable. But again, let's give credit where credit's due. We all make errors. Oh, here comes Hercules.
First pitch to Price. Right back up the middle. Armstrong dives and makes the catch. The throw to first in time. Goodness gracious. Khalil and Armstrong doing what they do best. Unfortunately, the Otters still trail by 7. We head to the bottom of the 9th where they have to get it done now. Well, this is it. Bottom of the 9th. Otters trail by 7. They've got to get a bunch done right here. They're going to face a new arm in the form of Joe Doherty. Doherty hails from Valparaiso, Indiana, and is looking to close out the game for the Y'alls this evening. It's called the Bullpens, presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for your business solution needs. Doherty on the mound. Edwards behind the plate. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000.
Well, the Otters don't have an anthill to climb now. Their chances are against Mount Everest. And that's a pretty high mountain out there, Mount Everest. I think that's in Oregon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Washington or Oregon. I remember passing it over on the airplane a lot of times going to Seattle. So that'd be Washington. Maybe it's the state of Washington.
Well, any climb has to start with one step, and Anthony Tarellis will hope to be the one that can do that. Tarellis, Khalil, and Buckner due up in the inning.
Third baseman, number 1, Anthony Tarellis.
Long wait for Tarellis to get up there and get ready to go. Way low to the ground is Doherty, looking in. Has his first sign, and then he steps off. Doherty ready to go with the first pitch to Tarellis here in the bottom of the ninth inning. First pitch stays high, ball one.
Didn't Tarellis try a bunt for a base hit earlier? I thought he did, and it went foul.
Could have been.
I'm looking at third baseman now. That's why.
1-0 count for Tarellis. Outside, ball two.
I remember he struck out the last time up with a pitch that was maybe 3 feet away from home plate.
Two balls, no strikes for the third baseman, Anthony Tarellis, trying to get the bus moving here in the ninth inning. The 2-0 sent sharply to the left side, played into the chest by Flate, the throw across in time for out number one. That brings up the shortstop, George Khalil, who is 1 for 3. He got the offense started for the Otters back in the second inning with a 2-out double that he laced down the right field line, but he couldn't do anything with it once he was out there.
He was stranded at second. They never threw him a lifesaver.
First pitch for George Khalil is on the way from Joe Doherty. That's a called strike.
It looked low and outside to me, but
Defense is set up pretty much straight up all the way around for Khalil. Here comes the 0-1. It's fouled right back into the netting, and he's back in the count 0-2.
that was a good swing.
So this was something else. We were through 4.5 innings in 1 hour this evening. And then since then, the last 4 exact innings have taken an hour 40. It really slowed down once the base runner started coming. And Khalil chases a pitch low and outside, and he's down with a strikeout. It's the first one of his day.
Well, when your pitchers start throwing balls and you end up with 3-1 counts, 3-2 counts, you're going to prolong the game.
DH Devin Buckner makes his way to the plate. 0 for 2 with a line out, a strikeout, and a hit by pitch so far. He's ready at the dish. First pitch is headed his way. Outside, ball one. Once again, defense playing straight up for him. Haven't really seen enough of him to even think about a shift. Right now, Buckner represents the final out of the game for the Otters. Last time he was the final out of the game for the Otters, he had a solo home run. The 1-0 Called strike one.
Real quick, Sadie celebrating birthday number 7. Happy birthday, Sadie Dillon.
1 ball, 1 strike for Devin Buckner. A 1-1 is a swinging strike 2 to Devin Buckner. Was just ahead of it.
Well, they're up to the last swing. That's it. 2 outs, 2 strikes, no one on.
The 1-2 to Devin Buckner. Swinging strike 3. That's how this ball game ends. And the Y'alls have their 11-game losing streak snapped with a 7-0 win here at Evansville. Big win for them. We'll keep it right here with the postgame. And I want to start off by just talking about both Brett Adcock and Yoniker Villalobos. The two of them, despite doing it in 2 very different ways, managed this game very well through the first 5 innings.
I agree with you. I thought both pitching. In fact, I'm not going to say tonight. I'm going to talk in the whole series. We've had outstanding starting pitching. And tonight, yes, Adcock was super. All you need is one mistake, and all of a sudden, there goes the balloon. It exploded.
Yeah, Adcock had himself 12 strikeouts when an error occurred by the third baseman, Anthony Tarellis. That led to 4 runs scoring in the 6th inning, a couple on little RBIs, and then 2 on a 2-run home run from Axel Johnson. Fast forward to the 8th, and 3 more scored for the Florence Y'alls. These all 3 off of Jake Polansk, 1 on an RBI on an error, 1 on a pass ball, and another one on an RBI single. That was all it needed, as a couple of crooked numbers was way too much for the Otters to come back from. And, it just kind of seemed like right after those 4 runs, I'll be honest, even after those first 2, forget the 2-run home run. When that error happened and a run scored, it felt like this might be it.
That's right. Well, you look at 7 runs versus no runs, 6 hits versus 3 hits. And they made 1 error, which didn't affect them. We made 2 errors, which changed the whole complex of the game. So it wasn't the Otters' night tonight. Let's put it that way.
The Otters had Brett Adcock lead the way on the mound for him. In his performance, he allowed 4 runs, none of them earned, on 4 hits in 7 full innings. He struck out 14 in that time. That's a new single-season record for 2022 at least, not all time, but this year it's the most by an Otters pitcher in 1 game. Jake Polansk then entered the game. He gave up 3 runs, none of them earned, on 2 hits in his 1 inning of work. He ended up striking out all 3 outs he got, but they were spread around a couple of RBIs. Drake Nightingale closed out the game for the Otters on the mound. He gave up a couple of walks, but then got himself out of it thanks to wonderful plays from both Khalil and Armstrong. And there's a couple things we learned in this game. It's that, yet again, the Otters' starting pitching is great. Yet again, the Otters' defense is very good. But we are reminded of the fact in baseball that 1 small error can lead to a whole avalanche of bad things going your way.
I'll say. You had a great game offensively by y'all, but not offensively by the Otters. You had a great defensive game by the y'all, but not by the Otters. And then you look at outstanding pitching. I thought the Otters had better pitching, but we're on the losing side anyway.
Well, the positive thing is Otters won game 1 yesterday. So because of that, tomorrow's a rubber match, and they've still got a chance to win the series as they conclude this 3-game homestand here at Bosse Field. We'll take one final look through the Fox Sports WIFX Frontier League scoreboard. Washington ends up getting a 3-0 win against Joliet. In the bottom of the 7th, Quebec has a 8-6 lead over New York. Schaumburg gets a 8-4 win against Windy City, and New Jersey did close out that 11-7 win against Trois-Rivières. And then the final score of the night from right here. Florence wins 7-0 over Evansville. Otters will look to right the ship a little bit tomorrow evening I'm not quite sure who the starter is going to be for Florence yet. That's to be determined. Ryan O'Reilly will go for the Otters, looking to close out the series on a high note. Again, Otters fall in this one 7-0 for all of us here at the Evansville Otters. He's been Bill McEwen. I've been Matthew Will. We will talk to you tomorrow afternoon as the Otters and Y'alls conclude their 3-game set. This has been Otters Baseball on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports. We'll talk to you tomorrow.